Right. Now, people are saying, what's going on? Like, this is a pretty late start. And yes, it is. I'm sorry about that. We are trying to figure out Badake's internet. He lives kind of in an area where the internet is a little bit spotty around him. And for whatever reason, his internet is not working right now. It's not starting up. So we were trying to figure that out. And essentially what we're going to do is he's going to hotspot his phone onto a laptop. So I have no idea what the quality will be like. We'll see what's going to happen. But what's up, people? Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you so much for hanging up. What's up, Chris? What's up, Cody? What's up, Matt? Burger? What's up? What's up? Normally it does not start this late. Sorry, guys. Logan, how you doing? How you doing? What's up, Burger? What's up, Kiefer? How we darn? How we darn? We darn good. Good to see. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Trippy? Ryan, what's up? Good to see everybody. What's up, Magunji? Good to see everybody here. Yes, internet is important. Yeah, internet is important. What's good? What's good? Okay, guys, we are here to do a Dynasty startup. Actually, sorry, I'm sorry about that. We're here to do a Dynasty rookie draft. We are all over the place right now. We're doing a Dynasty rookie draft. Again, I'm very, very sorry for the delay. We try and be on time as much as possible. Do us a favor. Well, actually, do yourself a favor. If you want a chance to get into tonight's mock draft, join our Discord with the link that I just pasted in the chat. That's how you join these. It's also in the description of this video. There is a text channel that says Dynasty Mock Drafts, and that is where we will send the link for you guys to join us here on Sleeper. Now, keep in mind, there's over 1,000 of you in that Discord. There's only going to be 10 or so spots available, so not everyone's going to be able to get in. It does go pretty quick, but still, we're going to hang out, have a good time, have conversations, and hopefully you're going to enjoy yourself as well. Just so you guys know, I am doing something over on Twitter where I essentially give away a draft position, like in a mock draft. So if you want to be a part of those, if you want to up your odds, give me a follow on Twitter. Every time we go live, I basically do a free draw. Someone gets a guaranteed entry. I think I hear Badake potentially. I can hear myself through your mic, Badake. And now I don't know why I can't hear you. You're a little bit muted now. Give us a follow. Badake also active on Twitter. Give him a follow there. I cannot hear Badake for some reason. I don't know what's going on. But big shout out to Zach who won today's competition. Big congrats to him. Badake, I think you can hear me, but we cannot hear you. Okay, and he says that he's going to get it figured out. So he's going to get it figured out. Look at that big old head on the screen. Okay, guys, we are going to get it figured out today. Thank you so much for... You know what? I actually just want to take a second. I have you muted. No, you have yourself muted. He has himself muted. Guys, I just want to take a second and say a genuine thank you to everybody out there who has been watching our content, who has been joining us on live streams. It's been almost unreal at times to see the amount of people who are watching us and watching our content. I mean, yesterday we had about 150 live at a time. The day before we had almost 200. And it actually kind of blows my mind at times how many people are watching our content and supporting us and actually enjoy it, which is obviously the goal, is for you guys to enjoy the content, for us to inform you about players, to give our opinions, and to help strategies. And at the end of the day, fantasy football is just a relief from everyday's life anyway. And so I just want to say a huge thank you. The support has been awesome on Patreon. The support's been awesome on liking the videos and subscribing and in the Discord and everything. I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody for your support, because it's not gone unnoticed, and it's greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for watching the video and hopefully enjoying the content. With that being said, can you do us a huge favor today and drop a like?
You like that?
On the
you like that?
if you like the content, if you like what we're doing, do us a favor and drop a like. Currently 79 people watching, 50 likes. Let's try and go ahead and hit that like goal today. I want to put it at like 120 because I think that's possible. We've seen that. So help us get there. Hopefully with your help, we can do so. Okay, I don't know when Badake is going to be with us, so I'm just gonna get us started here. Let's go ahead and go to the draft screen. Again, if you want to be in today's draft, then I would highly suggest to join our Discord. And I'm gonna go ahead and send the link out. Firstly, why don't you guys tell me where you want me to draft from today? Where would you like me to draft from? Do you want me to draft from the 101, from the 106, from the 108, 109, 110, 112? Oh, there's no 112, but let me know where you guys prefer me to draft from. Recently found you guys love the content. That's awesome. What's up, Zach? Like, subscribed, and commented. Thank you, Nicholas. Let's ride. Okay, we got a 106, a 102, 109, 103, 103, 108. So you can get your man. 102, 111, 111, 105, 110, 110, 110. Oftentimes
right.
People want me to draft at the back end of drafts.
Can you hear me here? Is this
yes.
good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Does it sound good? Okay. I figured it out. I have no idea.
Okay, we can hear
Sorry,
you.
guys. My internet, literally, as we're about to go live, just shit itself. Just like saying, you know what? We're not going live today. That's literally what it tells me. But I'm here.
Okay, it was good to have you here. Welcome. All right, I'm getting a lot of 109, 108, 10 and 110. So I'll do the 110 then. I feel like I just did the 110 though. Didn't I just do the 110 last time?
It was like 19, I think you did. So it's pretty similar.
Okay, let me go even further then. I'll do the 111.
Okay.
All right, let me get you in here as well, Badake.
I have a thing, so let me just.
Oh, you have a link. Okay. All right, guys. Right after Badake joins, I'm gonna send the link in the Discord. So make sure that you are obviously on. Ryan, the link will come in the Dynasty mock drafts text channel. It's a free for all, guys. Again, not everyone's gonna be able to get in. 62 watching, only 40 likes. 58 likes now. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much. Drop a like if you haven't done so yet.
Yeah, huge love.
Yeah. I'm an angry elf. I love that. I honestly, if I was on someone's stream, I would probably click that option and then just like it anyway. I saw a little chatter about people a little bit worried about CJ not declaring just yet. I would be shocked if he doesn't declare.
Shocked as well.
Because he's going to leave a lot of money on the table, and there could be a potential injury like what happened to Hendon Hooker this year. I am 99% sure CJ is going to declare. Are you in the draft?
I am in the draft.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send the link out on our Discord. So here it comes. Again, it is a free-for-all. Not everyone's going to get in. In fact, a very small percentage of people are going to get in. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. The link has been sent, and this is going to fill up really, really quickly. But again, as we've said before, if you want a higher chance at getting into one of these mocks, consider giving us a follow on Twitter. I do a free giveaway entry into the mocks every single time we go live, and Badake also posts some pretty cool content over there on Twitter, so consider giving us a follow there. And we are completely full, so shout out to everybody who is in with us. We got landing spots.
Here we go.
So let's get on the same page. Here's what's going to happen today. We're going to be doing a 3-round Superflex non-tight end premium rookie draft for the 2023 class. Okay? You will have 2 minutes on the clock, and you draft a kicker, and then you put in the sleeper chat, those who are drafting with us, the name of the rookie that you want to draft there. I will then put that rookie on the screen for you, and we'll move on, but we'll actually talk about that player for a little bit. So if you're here, it's your first time, we're going to have conversations about players. We're going to have back and forth. So just be aware, there'll be a lot of monologue to help you guys know who these players are and just to have conversations about them, okay? So that's going to happen. We are doing this mock draft based off of the landing spots. This is in the description. It's also on Discord, and it is also in the comments now. So Bryce Young is a Texan. CJ Stroud is a Colt. Will Levis is a Raider. Quentin Johnson is a Panther. These are the same ones as previously. Anthony Richardson a Jet. Addison is a Packer. Mayer is a Buck. JSN goes to the Jags. Boutte to the Giants. Bijan to the Ravens. Gibbs to the Bills. Hyatt to the Colts. Washington to the Saints. Downs to the Browns. Rashee Rice to the Patriots. Tanner McKee is a Buck. Luke Musgrave is a Giant. Cedric Tillman is a Bear. Dalton Kincaid is a Lion. Devin Achane, Train is a Cardinal, which I'm excited to talk about him today. I just scouted him yesterday or 2 days ago. Zach Evans is a Ram. Zay Flowers is a Texan. Tank Bigsby is a Dolphin. Zach Charbonnet is a Buck. Hendon Hooker is a Seahawk. Parker Washington, Ravens. Sam Laporta to the Chargers. Sean Tucker to the Bengals. That's an unfortunate landing spot. Marvin Mims to the Chiefs. All other rookies you can draft. They just might not have landing spots. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy started here in 3, 2, 1.
All right. I think I might be back up. So I'm just going to transition back to my computer setup. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Do your thing. All right. So a punter goes 101. Oh, oops. Sorry, guys. So a punter goes 101. And obviously this is probably going to be Bijan Robinson, but let's find out. Casey, let us know who it is in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and assume it is Bijan Robinson. And I think at this point, we probably don't need to spend too much time talking about him. You can listen to the previous mock drafts that we've done where we've gone into detail. But for us, he is the clear 101. Did he say CJ? Oh, okay. My bad. I'm so sorry. I just assumed. And what does assuming do? It makes an ass out of you and me, but this time it's just me. So, CJ Stroud goes number 1 overall. Is this something I would do? No. Does that mean it's wrong? No. But again, we're talking about Bijan, who is, in my humble opinion, the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. So that feels like the easiest can't miss player in the draft. But okay, fair enough. CJ Stroud goes at the 101. Look, we like CJ Stroud. He's not my quarterback 1 in this class. He is my quarterback 2. I would be taking Bryce Young first overall if I was going quarterback. I think in fantasy specifically, Bryce is probably going to give you a little bit more on the ground, a little bit more rushing upside. I know we saw CJ operate that way in the last game that he played, which was huge for his draft capital. And we do like CJ. It's very much a 1A, 1B scenario, but my A is Bryce Young, especially when you look at fantasy. What this dude can do on the ground is ridiculous. He can offer you such a high upside. And yes, he is smaller. I've heard some people use the comparison as far as like in the field of sports to Steph Curry. Like he is just one of those players who doesn't meet the requirements physically, but is an absolute freak at their craft, which you can view that. Again, it's not my comp. You can view that however you'd like to. So for me, I am going Bryce over CJ. I think CJ is a great reader of defenses. He's a very good processor of the game in real time, but I think there's a higher upside with Bryce Young in my humble opinion. But I'm also going Bijan here at the 101. I don't know what to say. This kind of threw me off a little bit.
No, yeah, definitely. I guess it's different. I guess people want to see what happens. Maybe there is a league out there that someone really needs a quarterback, and they're saying, you know what, I'm going to take Bijan over. I'm going to take CJ or Bryce over Bijan. And there's some people that are out there that like that. That like that idea. I'm not saying we would do it. Not saying that's something that we would do, but yeah, it's very interesting. So
for sure. All right, here goes Bijan Robinson off the board. I think in previous drafts, like the 2021 draft, when you had Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, I think you could potentially have considered it there. But Bijan Robinson, again, I have not seen a prospect like him since Saquon Barkley. He is the complete full package. Most missed forced tackles most tackles, most forced missed tackles. Damn, in college football this year.
Right.
Not only is he great on the ground, he's also great through the air. Great pass catcher, runs really good routes. Spent some time out wide. Spent some time in the slot. I think he's a complete full package. Can give you PPR upside and also can run for 100 yards a game. Like Saquon Barkley rookie season is what we're looking at. So I think he's the consensus 101. I think he should be the 101. Landing spot won't change that for me. But CJ Stroud goes 1 to the Colts. Bijan, who lands with the Ravens, goes at the 102.
That's crazy. I mean,
the?
I'm back up, guys. I'm sorry. It's been a hectic morning. And I feel really, really good now that I'm back. I have no idea what happened. But yeah, CJ.
CJ, what? That is a shock. Definitely questionable. It's wrong. First guy I pick. No, he doesn't ruin the draft at all. He doesn't. I mean, this is going to happen in some drafts, guys.
Yeah.
People are going to take their preferred quarterback in Superflex at times. Is it something that we would do? No, but that doesn't mean that there's a right or wrong, way to go about it. I mean, we wouldn't do it, but that doesn't mean that no one has a crystal ball here. Okay, in another shocking turn of events, Bryce Young is available at the 103, but Anthony Richardson goes at the 103 here to Zach Cooper. I have heard a lot of people who have this Anthony Richardson is the first quarterback you should take in Dynasty drafts conversation. And that is because of his rushing upside, the floor that presents, and the upside as a quarterback that he can present to people. Probably has the highest upside as a quarterback in the draft, in my opinion. Now, his floor, is much lower than a lot of guys that were available on the board. Yeah. But the draft capital is good, as Zach, I believe, is saying in the chat. So we're talking about Anthony Richardson lands with the Jets here at 13. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so the draft capital is pretty good.
Draft capital is good at 13 here. Has a really good solid foundation, good offensive line. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Reese behind. I mean, there's going to be talks of a new offensive coordinator, which reports saying that hinders Zach Wilson. So maybe if that is the case, or maybe Zach Wilson is the problem. But no matter what, Anthony Richardson going to a team that is stacked at talent, young defense, a very good young team. I mean, I like it.
Yeah. Trippy says, prove me wrong, but Anthony Richardson is just Malik Willis all over again. Look,
gosh.
I definitely like Malik Willis better I like Anthony Richardson better as a prospect.
Right.
I think the difference here, guys, between Malik and Anthony Richardson is Malik Willis was a 5-year starter, if I'm not mistaken, in college. He had a ton of time to improve.
Mm-hmm.
If not 5, I believe it's 4 years as a starter. He had a ton of college football where he played years, he made improvements. And even though he was an unfinished product, he already had a lot of football time under his belt. Anthony Richardson is a lot younger, if I'm not mistaken, and he has only played 10 games as a starter, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, maybe one more.
This past season, 2022, I'm pretty sure was his first full season.
It was his full season. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he hasn't had as much time to perfect his craft in real time than a guy like Malik Willis. And also, if the draft capital is no longer third round, but it's first round, there's just I think a different expectation from a team, a different level of patience. So yeah, I probably am taking Bryce over Anthony, but I don't think it's crazy with the rushing upside that he presents. If he's a starter year one, you could look at like a Lamar Jackson type year one, what we saw from Justin Fields this year as his year one. Like, there's a potential top 12 upside for Richardson purely based on what he does on the ground.
Yeah, 100% agree. I'm excited to see where he goes. I mean, there was talks that he wasn't even going to declare he might stay another year.
Yeah, a lot of people thought he would do that, and then he just declared straight away, and we're like, okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Let's see who's next here. I mean, I think this is pretty obvious. It's Bryce Young here, no doubt about it. Bryce Young falling to the
104.
104. I mean,
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Imagine getting Bryce Young at the 104. I think that's crazy, and I wonder why.
You've been handed a gift here.
Yeah, I'm interested to know why someone like Zach took Anthony Richardson over.
He's
Bryce
been telling
Young.
us in the chat.
Oh, okay, I haven't been.
He's been saying basically, says taking A-Rich over anyone except Bijan if he gets first-round capital. Will happily wait for the ceiling and traits to develop if he lands in a situation with a good team and system.
Okay. I didn't see the comment. Trying to catch up with the chat.
Trippy
Okay,
says that's true. Malik Willis definitely should have been NFL ready and fooled everyone. Anthony Richardson might just need a year to develop. Yeah, for sure. Look, is this how we would start drafts? Are these the decisions we would make? I don't think so, but this is fun. I mean, and in your dynasty rookie drafts with your home leagues, guys, people are gonna make some crazy decisions. So
100%.
I can already hear people in the comments being like, "This is so unrealistic. This is ruined." I mean, this stuff is gonna happen in your home leagues.
Agreed. Let's see who goes here at the 1-5. Comeback kid.
Yeah.
Now you know, top running back off the board. Your top quarterbacks, quote unquote.
I think there's so many good options here still.
Yeah, still a lot of good options. Let's see what he says.
Who is it going to be at the 105? It is Jahmyr Gibbs, running back out of Alabama. We like Jahmyr Gibbs. You've heard probably so many different comps for him. For me, I hear the Alvin Kamara comps. He's not as big as Kamara. I more like the Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift comparisons in their game as well as their size. But that's what you're getting. You're getting instantly a starter, a focal point of an offense. And we're big fans of him, especially in PPR formats. He's going to catch a lot of balls in the NFL because he's been doing it a lot in college football. In fact, he ran 244 routes as receiving routes this year. Over 52% of his snaps, he was running a route.
Sheesh.
Which is insane because he still put up 929 rushing yards at 6.2 yards per carries. So he had a very good year, especially as a pass catcher. And I'm excited to see what he becomes in the NFL. Any thoughts on him?
No, I think he is a guy that's going to be a great pass catching back. I think he's a doodle guy. He's an all around guy. I mean, he's a great route runner, a great, guy that can run in between the tackles. I think he needs more opportunity to run, in between the tackles, which I don't think it really matters. We think of Alvin Kamara's, we think of, the Aaron Jones, like you said. So I think no matter where he goes, I think there's going to be success for Jahmyr Gibbs. Just got to wait and see where he lands. Right now, the Buffalo Bills seem very, very nice.
Yeah. Trippy says, is Jahmyr Gibbs similar to JK? I personally don't believe so. I don't think they're very similar in their gameplay. I more compare him again to the DeAndre Swifts of the world, the Aaron Joneses of the world. I don't see much JK in his game, but I haven't heard that comp. Have you? And do you see any similarities?
I don't see similarities.
And also, he's not as big as JK, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. I'll say JK is a little bit smaller, a little bit more stockier.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that comparison, but I don't think I think there's maybe
JK's at
similarities.
212, 215-ish around there. If I'm not mistaken. Gibbs is right at 200 right now.
Yeah, I think it's definitely Kamara, Swift, Jones, in my personal opinion.
Hey, El Tigre has now been
upgraded.
Well, no, he's been a supporter for 8 months, which is incredible.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Does he get the golden goat now? I wonder.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has the golden goat now.
Yeah, he's had it. Yeah, maybe.
So awesome. Thanks so much for continually supporting over here. Oh, we're about to get a couple people on 8 months, I think. I don't know what's going on, but thank you so much for the support. All right, let's see what happens next. El Tigre. Dab on him. JK is 214 pounds at 5'9". Yeah, I think he's right at that 5'9", 5'10" range. Okay, let's see what Tizbomb does here. Yep, he is. Love the Aaron Jones comp. Thank you. Would you take Gibbs or A-Rich? I think Gibbs is a safer play. A-Rich has the higher ceiling, but I think Gibbs is a safer play, so that's a tough one. All right, this is an absolute steal. At the 106, Badake and I just recorded today a debate where we debated who the wide receiver one is. My wide receiver one is Jackson Smith and Jigba. You're going to be able to watch that video here, and actually, I might as well release it tonight. Let's do it tonight. You guys can watch it tomorrow.
I think we will release it tonight. I think it's just.
And I'm really excited for you guys to watch that. This is my wide receiver one in the class. one of two can't miss prospects for me in this year's class. My first can't miss prospect, obviously Bijan Robinson. My second and the only other can't miss for me is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, is that to say that I devalue the rest of the class? No, nowhere near it. It's just what I'm saying is I don't see a scenario based on film, analytics, production, breakout. I don't see a scenario in which those two prospects fail in the NFL. Their games will translate very, very well. So to get him at the 106, I think that's incredible value for Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I compare a little bit to the Cooper Kupps of the world, the Larry Fitzgeralds, the Keenan Allens, Amon-Ra St. Brown a little bit you could put in there. But I think he can also operate on the outside with his route running ability.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, Jackson Smith's a great wide receiver. I'll talk about who my number one is if he does get picked here, and let's see what happens. By the way, and he does get picked. By the way, Zach, your phone's doing the vibration thing. Not saying anyone's complaining again, but I just wanted to get it out.
I'm so popular.
I know, right? I think it's just all notifications.
It's hard when you're the most popular girl at school.
Most popular girl at school. At the 107, Quentin Johnson, TCU, 6'4", 215, going to the Carolina Panthers, and he is my wide receiver one. I think the athleticism, the speed, the ability, the size, the 6'4", 215 could potentially run high 4.3s, low 4.4s. I think it's phenomenal for a guy at 6'4".
I think you meant that the other way.
Yeah.
Low 4.3s, high 4.4s.
Low 4.3s, low 4.4s, high 4.3s, low 4.4s. I think it's phenomenal. There's so much that can go on, and so much that Quentin Johnson can do. It's just, watch the video. I think I'm really excited. I don't want to go in too much with all of my points. I think there's so much context there in that video, but I mean, it's good to see that they're both going back to back here on Jackson Smith and Jigba and Quentin Johnson. Here.
I'm going to let you take some time to make a pick. I'm just going to address the comments. JSN overall, Gibbs or Jackson. It's very close for me. I would take either, but I probably lean JSN a little bit. Trippy says wide receiver one for him is Quentin. Ryan says, I think JSN is a generational talent. So yeah, I mean, your comp and my comps for Quentin are very similar. It's D-Hop and AJ Green kind of in that territory. I almost see a little bit of T. Higgins as well. Yeah. But those are our comps for him if people are looking for comps. If it's blurry and you can't see, you got to change the quality from your end. Yeah, go to the little settings icon and make sure you're on 1080p. Okay, you're up here. What are you thinking?
I'm up here, and there's two people I'm debating between. I don't know if I should go quarterback or wide receiver. Gosh, man, where to go, huh? Where to go?
I know where I would go, but I don't know where you would go. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go wide receiver here. I'm going to take Jordan Addison to the Green Bay Packers.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and, if everything does stay the same and going there with Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson, if Aaron Rodgers does stay, I think the ceiling is phenomenal for Jordan Addison. There's a lot of things in this game that we both don't like and don't love. The yards after the catch, it just wasn't there. The speed is somewhat there. I think it's inconsistent.
It's just not like an explosive player after the catch either. There's good speed, but there's no explosiveness after the catch.
Exactly. So for Jordan Addison, another thing is like, I think the expectation that he's going to come and be the wide receiver one, and I think we both agree to where it's like, I think he can be a good complementary wide receiver, a 1B, something. And we keep going back to the scenario.
And I almost put I personally, I don't even say like he can be a complimentary guy. I'm saying he can be an elite complimentary guy, an elite too, like the Devonta Smiths of the world.
Yeah, so exactly. And then we go back to the comparison of Devonta Smith and maybe the pathway that he could potentially go on. And it's how Devonta Smith came in, top wide receiver. He's going to get a lot of production, and he kind of struggled in his first year. In the second year, kind of blew up, with the help of A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts taking another big step. If he can go with Aaron Rodgers and Christian Watson on the other side, I think this is really exciting for someone like a Jordan Addison, in my personal opinion. So
just to highlight
here at the 1-8.
Yeah, I think the 108, that's probably where I'm comfortable drafting him as well. But there are some people out there who are like, Addison's wide receiver one. He's not for us. He is not in the same tier as those other two guys. You talked about it a little bit, some of the concerns that we have. I would just also add to that, against press coverage, he did struggle a little bit, especially against bigger body defensive backs, which he's going to face a lot in the NFL. And to those people who are using Devonta Smith as a comparison, no comparison is perfect, and I understand that when I say this. But Devonta Smith was a much better hands catcher and contested catcher than Jordan Addison has ever been. And in fact, in 2022, Jordan Addison's contested catch rate was 22.2%, which if you look at wide receivers in college football who had 55 targets, that is 206th of like 220. He's not a good contested catcher, and he does struggle through traffic. Yep. But again, we love him as a route runner. We love his production, breakout age. My comp for him is Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy. I kind of see like a combination of those two players.
Okay.
I would say Calvin Ridley is like the absolute ceiling, but Calvin Ridley plays better through traffic and he has better hands. My floor, I'm more looking at like a Robert Woods, Tyler Lockett when I look at him. So there's a safe floor with him because he can get open. He does have a very, very good route tree, good route runner, good separator. But again, if it's press, there are concerns. So
right. And I think there's so many people in the fantasy community, which is, it's not wrong. It's your opinion, that have him as your wide receiver 1. I've seen so many people say he's a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. It's just how you view these players and the hope and the expectation. But I think at the end of the day, it's all about landing spot. It's all about opportunity, where these guys are going to go, right? So let's see what happens with Jordan Addison. But I think he's both our consensus wide receiver 3.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And I've heard some people say like Justin Jefferson comps. I'm just like, not the same body size and not very similar game. I don't understand those kind of comps.
Yeah.
But again, very good route runner. He's going to have to bulk up a little bit versus DBs in the NFL. Hey, guys, shout out to the 174 people watching the stream. Really appreciate it, guys. It's awesome to hang out with you. It's honestly an honor that this many people would want to watch us at one time. Can you do us a huge favor? The easiest way for you to help us grow our work, to help us grow this passion that we have for Dynasty is to like the video.
You like that?
Like the stream. That's going to help us grow the algorithm, and subscribe. So we really appreciate it if you guys can do that for us. Right now we are at 88 likes. Let's get to 100 right now. With your help, I think we can do it. Yeah. Thanks so much for the support. Let's go on to the 109 here and see what happens.
109. So we have 3 wide receivers, 3 quarterbacks off the board, 2 running backs off the board, 3 wide receivers back to back here.
Yeah.
And let's see where Martin goes. Makes his pick. Assuming it was going to be the other person.
Of course, no worries. You're good. Sorry, guys. Trying to keep up with comments. But you guys are awesome. Like, so many people are having conversations and everything. We love to see it. If you want it ever for us to absolutely look at one of your comments, just drop a super chat on it for whatever amount you want. We will instantly reply to it. Oh, okay.
So Josh Downs.
Okay.
He goes to the Browns here.
All right.
Look, I know I'm a little bit higher than you on Josh, so I'll talk about him a little bit. I think he's a perfect and ideal slot receiver, especially here in this scenario. A guy that can play the middle of the field with Deshaun Watson in this scenario, I think is fantastic. I think he can stretch the field, and I think he has the ability, and he can be lined up anywhere, right? And he has the elusiveness. He has great ball. I think he's good with ball handling as well. But I think the contested catches is something that is phenomenal. He got some hands.
I put in my notes.
He got some hands, boy, and he plays big for his frame. Which this is why I really like him. He's a guy that can go on the outside and go up with your number 1 DB. And maybe, yes, he is in a disadvantage being 5'11" when he's going up against a DB that's 6'2". But I think that's what's scary about him is that, like, just because he's 5'11", that don't mean he ain't gonna body you. He bodied people, which I really like and is exciting in my personal opinion. And one thing I always like to say about him is that passes over 20 yards, receptions over 20 yards. He's caught 6 out of 7 targets, which means that he is a deep ball threat for this team. And this is in a contested catch scenario, right? So I think it's phenomenal what he's doing. I love what he can do. Dominated rating is great. The yards after the catch is not the best, but I like what he can do and what he can bring to a team.
I think there's at minimum 4, maybe 5 guys I'm going ahead of him still on the board, personally. I'll just offer the opposite side of the coin with some of the concerns. I do agree his hands are very impressive. And as a contested catcher, I think he was at 72.2%, if I'm not mistaken. Is that number correct? You could double check for me. But that is a very high percentage. And you can see it in his film. He is a very good contested catcher, good body control, good ball tracking skills. But I wasn't as impressed with his route running as everyone else. I think there are moments in which he shows brilliance, but there's also a lot of lazy routes on film where it just feels kind of rounded off. If he's not involved in the play, I didn't feel like he really cared too much. And after the catch, I wasn't as impressed as everyone else. He is explosive, but I don't see as many of those plays where he creates for himself like some of the yak gods we have in the NFL. I see a lot of okay, this is a lane created to me by my blocking, and I'm going to follow it, which is good. Like, that's good IQ. But we don't see as much creativity in the open field for me. So I have some concerns. And again, with the size, you're right. Like, that is a genuine concern. This is a good landing spot, though, I would say, for him with the Browns, because they don't have much capital or money to really sign another wide receiver. So he could be an impact guy for them for day one. But again, there's quite a few. I'm still going ahead of him. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong, but yeah, I know we see him a little bit differently.
Yeah. Josh Downs, I like him. So I'm excited to see where he goes. To see where he goes. John, on the clock here. Let's see where he goes.
Yeah.
And what he does here. I think it's a couple good talents. I wonder if you're gonna have to. You might have to take somebody you're not gonna want to.
No. Shh. John, you know what to do, brother. Make the right decision here.
Here we go, John. Come on, no pressure. John's taking long.
Come on, John.
John's like, who can I take right now?
Come on, John. Make the right decision
make Zach
here.
Tilt. That's exactly what John's thinking.
John, you got this, brother. Come on, please talk dirty to me. Come on, John, please. John says he's gonna draft.
Says I'll do it.
Let's see. Who is it gonna be? Will Levis. Thank God.
He didn't want.
Good pick, John. Great pick.
Did not want to talk about this guy.
I'll let you talk about Will Levis.
Look, I like Will Levis, man. He, in this scenario here, he's going to the Raiders. I'm not in love with the landing spot personally, but I think the talent is there. I think something that you say and the community has been saying is the mold, right? The mold is there, right? I really like the mold. I like the opportunities that he could potentially, and the ceiling that he could potentially bring. There is concerns, but I think what happened, in my personal opinion, watching the 2021 film, watching the 2022 film versus, putting them back to back, so this offense really hindered him, and I think they didn't necessarily bring out.
Hey, thank you so much for the sub, DK Semetics. Sorry, go ahead.
Didn't necessarily bring out the best attributes in Will Levis. So I still believe the talent's there, the mold's there, and the ceiling is definitely high. So I'm still a believer in Will Levis, and I am agreeing with Anthony Richardson has the better, I guess, the higher ceiling, where Will Levis has the lowest floor, in the sense of the mold. But I like what he's doing.
Agreed.
I like what he can do.
Out of all the quarterbacks, he has the lowest floor, and I would say he has the second highest ceiling. So if you're looking at risk picks, I think this late into the draft, look, like, maybe I'm being too much. Maybe I'm being too extra. I just don't want to draft Will Levis, and I could learn to regret that. But a lot of people who are saying, he has the mold of Josh Allen, well, there's a lot of people who had that mold and didn't really work out. There's a lot more examples of failed projects than successful projects. And with Will specifically, I think the part I just can't get over with is his inability to read a defense. I cannot get past that. And that is something that can be coached. It can be taught. But there's this mental aspect to the game that you can't really put your finger on for these guys. Zach Wilson had every single one of the traits that you want in an impact quarterback and a superstar quarterback. Billy, thank you so much for the donation, brother. Billy on the street. We're going to get to his question right away because he dropped a super chat. But for me, Will Levis, the most success that he saw was with Wan'Dale Robinson. And a lot of that offense was screen throws to Wan'Dale, slants to Wan'Dale, and Wan'Dale winning after the catch. And typically last year, if Wan'Dale's not open, that's my read and I'm running it. We didn't see a lot of running this year, and that led to bad quarterback play because there was no one to replace Wan'Dale Robinson, and he couldn't read the rest of the field. So to me, I think he has the highest bust potential of any quarterback that's being talked about in the first round. but he does have the second highest ceiling. I don't think the 110 is bad at all. I just don't want to draft him. I'm just very anti him.
For sure, and I think that's the hard part. It's like Wandell left, and it was like, all right, we're just gonna continue with those screens and not letting him utilize his arm strength, right? He has a 1 or 2 plays where he's trying to throw the ball down the field and is intercepted or is whatever, but it's just like it was so forced, right? There was no naturalness and no rhythm to his game this year, which was frustrating.
Totally. Different players, but draft capital is important. It is very important. But Zach Wilson was the number 2 overall pick. So, I just don't know what to do with Will Levis, and I think I'm going to avoid him, and I could regret it. But I also feel like there are safer options. But again, at the 110, I don't care. But if he's a top 6 pick, I feel like that's too much. Billy, thank you so much for the super chat. We'll get to your question straight away here. If Bryce goes to Houston and CJ goes to Indy, who do you see having a better career?
I
would personally would just say I still would bet on the talent of Bryce Young, and assume that they build around him. But you think CJ, I imagine.
I was going to say CJ, but another big factor that we have no idea of right now is that head coaching, right? Both of these teams don't have a head coach at the moment. No one has, And I think that's what's going to be the biggest thing. What if Sean Payton goes to the Texans? What if Sean Payton goes to the Colts? What if Jim Harbaugh goes, Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh, whichever one that's not there, whichever twin is not there, right? So I'll be really excited to see one of those guys with an amazing head coach. But for me, I think the overall build and mold of the team so far, and what we know on paper, I think it'll probably be CJ with the Colts. A decent offensive line that still needs to improve. Good talent around him. Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce, Jonathan Taylor with a top 10 defense on the other side. So I like what CJ can walk into if he does go to the Colts.
Yeah, again, I think they're both favorable scenarios. I personally don't imagine that if the Texans draft Bryce Young, they're not going to then go get an impact wide receiver in the draft.
Agreed.
With their second first-round pick, but I don't think they did that in this year's mock or in this mock draft landing spots that we're using. But yeah, I'm just going to bet on the talent of Bryce Young. I think he is one of those guys who, yes, undersized, but does so many things that if he was 6'4", he would be one of the best quarterback prospects we've seen in the last decade, right? It's just the size that is a concern. But if you're talking about modern-day quarterbacks, we really want the improvisation, and we saw that from CJ in the last game, but we didn't see it a lot for the rest of his career, really. Meanwhile, Bryce Young is one of the best improvisers in the game. So, anyway, I think it would be close. I think it would be very, very close.
Yeah, it will.
All right, I'm here at the 111.
You're on the clock here. Let's see what I think you're gonna go.
I think I know what I'm gonna do. I just want to review my options.
I think I know what you're gonna do as well. I see the option here.
Okay, for me, I expect this player to get first-round draft capital, even though it's been a rough year. I've talked about it before. Last year, people were telling me that I shouldn't draft George Pickens because he was a problem in the locker room. He was starting fights. And I watched George Pickens on film, and I said, this is one of the most talented players I have seen on film in the past 2 years. And I drafted George Pickens everywhere I could. I'm not saying I see the same in his 2022 film, but when I watch Kayshon Boutte's 2021 film, I am extremely, extremely excited about what he could potentially be. I'm going to take Kayshon Boutte here, someone who probably should be a top 15 pick, I think, in the NFL draft, isn't going to end up being, and I get to draft him at the 111. And not only do I get to draft him at the 111, but he falls to the Giants, who are a team on the rise, and they desperately need a wide receiver exactly like Kayshon Boutte.
Hey, talk it up.
So,
talk it up.
I like the landing spot personally. I'm betting on the talent. I know the production isn't there last year. I know the situation is weird. I know it's hard to understand why he would be kicked out of LSU because of a sex party, apparently.
He was just having a good time.
He's just having a good time. He's just doing his thing.
He's just doing his thing, having a good time. You're going to say that he's a shit player now? He's having a good time?
Yeah.
Mental.
So I'm going to take Keishawn Butte here. I'm a big fan of his. I'll quickly tell you guys a little bit about him.
Scary said
Running the
Keishawn
trade.
loves trades.
I know. I personally think he's going to be a steal in the NFL draft. I know that there's some concerns off the field, but when you turn on that 2021 film, before his entire coaching staff changed, before his quarterback changed, you see an extreme talent, explosive player, very strong runner in the open field. I think he reminds me a little bit of Deebo Samuel. I think the floor, you're looking at like a Golden Tate type of player, but Butte's a little bit thicker. But yeah, I see shades in Deebo, of Deebo when he's in the open field. I'm not saying he's that caliber of player, but I believe he could turn into that caliber of player. Relatively good fundamentals as a route runner. I think he can clock somewhere around a 4.37, 4.38.
Yeah, he's
good
really
speed. Maybe even better than that. So the production is the only thing that I don't like about Keishawn Butte, but big fan of his. So we'll
Agreed.
see what happens. I'm willing
agree.
to take the chance on the talent this late.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's so much opportunity, so much talent, so much, areas to improve and grow. My biggest concern is the body language and the actions of when he's not getting the ball in production. Like,
I get that.
and I said this last time because the Giants doesn't matter if you got the bag in your first round pick. Brian Dable is not going to do that, and I'm a Giants fan. Kind of understand that thought process now because obviously we've seen that with Kenny G, two different players, but I think the scenarios could definitely be similar when it comes down to production. So let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Any ideas on how I'm in the lobby but not in the draft? You can join the lobby, but it's the first people who actually select a team. Everyone can be in the lobby if they wanted to, technically, I think. But yeah, you have to actually select a team, and those people who select a team get in, essentially. Butte in New York would be nice. JSN or Jameson Williams. I'm probably going JSN personally, even though I love Jameson Williams.
That's he played this. Yeah. I'm talking about the thought process. Like, just because you have a 4-year contract with $73 million doesn't mean Brian Dable's going to give you the ball, right? So I think the same thing could be said here with Keishawn Butte. If he doesn't have the same attitude, or if he has the same attitude, right? Anyways, it's all good.
I know you don't like Levis, but if he's taken top 5 in the draft, he needs to be taken earlier than this. Yeah, I can respect everyone's opinions for sure. But even if he's taken top 5, I'm not taking him over Jackson. I'm not taking him over Gibbs. I think if he's taken top 5, which he wasn't in this mock, but he could, then I think you should consider him right around Quentin. But again, I think you're looking at the highest bust rate of any player this year.
All right, so Jared picked, and he's going Devin A Train.
Okay.
And this is your guy. You said you wanted to talk about him. You were excited to talk about him. You scouted him the other day. Tell us about him.
Okay, so I don't want to label him my guy though, because
he's not your guy, right?
There are people in the community who are extremely high on A-Chain. I am not someone who believes he is consensus RB3. In fact, at the moment, I believe he's my RB5. I could be wrong. Let me double check. But I believe he's my RB5 at this very moment. However, I will say I found some things that I really, really do like about A-Chain's game when evaluating his film recently this week. I'm just going to bring up his document. Okay, I find it really difficult to put my thumb on him, to be honest. I'm really struggling to 100% find out what A-Chain is as a prospect. The speed, he's probably the fastest player who plays football right now in the world. Probably. Okay? Right now, active football players, he's probably the fastest player.
Is he faster than Tyreek Hill?
I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is faster than Tyreek Hill.
That's the first guy that came to mind. I'm pretty sure other people say that.
Anyway. We will find out. Can you double check what 40 Tyreek Hill went? I think he runs a 4.2. I think he runs like a 4.28.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Probably not as fast as Chris Johnson.
Tyreek went
But-
4.29.
He went 4.29. Okay.
That's it, yeah.
I think he runs like a 4.28. We'll find out. I could be wrong. So people throw around the word elite a lot, but the definition of elite speed, you have that in A-Chain. I think he has very good burst, which allows him to get to that top speed pretty quickly. And I like the change of direction I see on film. I like the lateral quickness, the quick feet when he's trying to get in between tackles. Now he struggles with strength in between the tackles. We'll get to some of the bad in a second. But outside of those things, I also think people are drastically underrating him as a pass catcher. This dude is going to be a matchup nightmare for linebackers in the NFL, for safeties in the NFL. He ran 299 routes, receiving routes this year. That's 48.7% of his total snaps. 299 receiving routes is fifth of 168 running backs who had a minimum of 100 rushing attempts in college football this year. Not only did he run a bunch of routes, he caught a lot of balls. Like, this might not sound impressive for people who are more familiar with the NFL, but in college football, he had 44 targets. He got 36 of them, 3 receiving touchdowns. That's pretty good for a running back. Now, is it elite? No, but it's very, very good. And you can see shades of a potential like elite third down running back, satellite type guy. Now, there's a lot of bad though. Like, there's polar opposites. Great. The good is so good, and the bad is really, really concerning.
Right.
The strength is really concerning to me. In between the tackles, there's not much there. When you get your hands on him, you probably bringing him down as far as like defensive linemen, linebackers go. In short yardage scenarios, let's say you need like 2 to 3 yards to convert a third down. Hey, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much for the sub, Justin. Let's say you need like 2 to 3 yards to convert a first down or to get into the end zone on the goal line. He is not that guy. He's not that guy. In fact, there was 2 separate games I watched this year of his. One of them being, I think, LSU, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what the other one was, but where he was on the 3-yard line and he had 2 chances in both of these games to just punch it in from the 3, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't even get a single yard on those plays. So I don't think he's going to be a goal line guy, and he probably gets taken out in goal line scenarios, and you have a big beefy back who comes in and steals the touchdowns from him. He's also not a good pass blocker. Real liability at times as a pass blocker, which makes me question if he doesn't improve in that area. Can you make him an elite third down running back? You know, can he be someone that you can trust on third downs? Right. Because defenses are going to know if he's out there on third down that he's probably not pass blocking, which you don't really want the defense knowing your cards before you show them.
I think that's that's the downfall. You know, like no matter
it's tough.
If I see him, if I'm on defense, I see him on the field, I'm going straight for the guy. You know, like
you're gonna probably miss him if you go straight for him. You better take the right angle.
I'm quicker than you think.
5'9", 185. So not many examples of players being elite at that size. You can point to Darren Sproles at 190. And I think the ceiling is like a Darren Sproles. The floor is like a LaMichael James, DeAnthony Thomas. If you guys remember those players, both extremely fast guys out of Oregon, high ceilings, didn't work out. They just could not get over the size issue. Right. The reason I have hope for A-Chain, I wouldn't draft him this high, but the reason I have hope for him in fantasy is 2 reasons. There are elite traits, no doubt, with the speed, the burst, the quickness, and he can pass catch. So in PPR leagues, he could give you. Think about what Jerick McKinnon was for the past like 5, 6, 7 weeks. If someone used him properly, he might be able to give that to you. But even McKinnon's at like 208, I think, 208 pounds. So I can't get my thumb on him just yet. I don't think he's a first-round pick. There are other running backs I'd prefer over him. But I think anywhere from like 203 onwards, I think he's worth a shot because there are genuine elite traits that you see in him. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Once again, I think just like any other of these players, but I think someone specifically like like Devin is how much is going to be landing spot. I know a lot of people can go anywhere and like be successful.
Oh, hey, sorry. Thank you so much for the donation, El Tigre. We'll get to your question right after this.
We appreciate you. I think for someone like him, everything has to be perfect, and I think it's so difficult to kind of navigate that and really understand how that perfect and when that what that perfect is. You know, we can name so many teams that he can land on. Like, oh, I can see him in this system, but at the same time, it's like, doesn't mean they're going to be successful.
At the end of the day, if he can improve as a pass blocker, I have genuine concerns for his ability to stay on the field. But again, there's all these elite traits that you point to, and you're like, ooh.
Right.
If he was doing what he was doing, not even at 215, but at 200 pounds, he's the third running back in this class for me. But vision is also a little bit inconsistent anyway. Tigre says he and Pacheco would be the Wambo combo for KC. That would be fun. Would be
interesting.
Pacheco owners might be a little frustrated though, because you really want him getting work in the air. But you're right. I think Kansas City would be a really ideal landing spot for him if he can take that Jerick McKinnon role, who's about 30 years old right now, if I'm not mistaken. But guys, that's the end of the first round. We're going to get to the second round. Just to recap, in a wild turn of events, CJ goes 101. Bijan at the 102, Anthony Richardson, who went to the Jets, at the 103. Somehow we got Bryce Young falling all the way to the 104. And then you get Gibbs at the 105. I feel like you're feeling like a king. Same with Jackson Smith at the 106. Quentin, Addison, Downs, Levis. I got Booty. And then Devin A-Chain, a.k.a. Train, as we like to say. Hey, I just wanted to let everyone know, 194 people watching. Guys, we are currently, let me get the correct maths. We are currently 31 subscribers away from 4,000.
Oh, boy.
We are 31 subscribers away from 4,000. If you haven't subscribed yet, you like Dynasty content, you could do us a huge favor. Maybe it's possible we get to that number on this stream. If you can drop a sub, if you like the content, if you like the vibes, if you like what we're doing, that could mean a lot. Also, we're at 124 likes. Why don't we try and get that to 150? With your help, I believe we can do so. The math checks out. If you like the content, if you like the stream, the easiest way to support what we do is to drop a like. 190 people watching, 124 likes. I'm not a mathematician, but we can get up there around the 190s if possible.
So much content coming out too. We go live Monday through Thursday, and we alternating rookie mocks, the Dynasty startup. So a lot of content coming out too. We just recorded 3-4 videos today, so it's crazy.
I'm excited for you guys to watch that. The last thing I'll say is we are trying to grow our Twitter presence. So if you are someone who is big on Twitter, I put out all 22 film there. I put out evaluations. I try to start conversations. I just put out some film. Literally, we just talked about Devin a chain. I'm showing you the film that concerns me. I'm showing you the film that I like. So consider giving us a follow. I know Badake obviously puts out some good content over there as well as on his Twitter, so I'll paste his Twitter. And the last thing I'll say is if you want to support us on Patreon, link in the description, patreon.com/fantasylandfam. You can just support us, for $2 a month all the way up to $15, I believe. If you want to unlock our rankings, which will come out soon, our rookie profiles, which will come out, all this coming out on February 1st.
Yeah, February 1st.
If you want to unlock the fantasy hotline where you can ask us unlimited amount of questions. If you want to orphan a Dynasty team in one of our follower leagues. Hey, thank you so much for the sub. If you want to orphan one of our follower leagues, which I think we only have one orphan team available right now, then you can consider doing that. Make sure you read the list entirely before you sign up. But let's go ahead and move on to the second round. We've got KCB up, who shockingly went CJ Stroud 101. Let's see what he does here at the 201. Or become a member and get a GOAT. That's right. You can also become a member and get a GOAT. Just subbed, but I'm curious, why is everyone sleeping on Kendre Miller? We will talk about him. I'm sure he'll be drafted, and we'll have a conversation about him. Nice. Love that. This is Superflex. Love the content. Thank you so much. What's up, fellas? Got off a long day of work. Downs at the 109. Yes, we were a little bit shocked about that. I would suggest to go back and hear our thoughts.
Yeah, check it out. Yep. All right, let's see where Casey is going. He's typing here right now.
He said he wanted to go Quorum, but Quorum went back.
Unfortunately. gonna think there's two running backs, I would assume. Zach Charbonnet. So I'll take Zach Charbonnet, the number 2 PFF rated running back coming out, and I believe in the top 5 since PFF started ranking. Too easy, man. So KCB going with Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. He's in the thumbnail, huh? He's in the thumbnail.
I love me some Zach Charbonnet. I can't get enough of Zach Charbonnet's film. It is so fun to watch him run through every single person who decides to try and tackle him and inflict serious pain on them. Not only is he a very strong runner, I think he has great vision, good contact balance, but he improved drastically as a pass catcher this year. Drastically. In fact, in 2021, he had 23 receptions. He has 37 this year. He almost doubles his targets, and he almost doubles his yardage through the air. That was one of his goals this year, was to improve as a pass catcher. I think he more than did that. My cons for him, I look kind of like a James Conner type player. James Conner, Deonta Foreman, Jamal Williams, young Latavius Murray. That's the kind of player I see, but I think he has potentially more upside as a pass catcher than some of those players as well. So I'm a big fan of his. And if he lands in Tampa Bay, like he is here in the landing spots that we're using, I think he instantly becomes a first and second down running back, and Lenny's probably on his way out because Brady's no longer there, which means Lenny probably doesn't have a reason to be there either.
Yeah, exactly. Charbonnet, great guy. I think he's a big body guy. I think a lot of opportunities are going to be taken away from the goal line opportunities when it comes down to whatever team he's going to go to.
Agreed. He's a great goal line back.
He's a great goal line back. Great size. He does have some little burst at times for me, but not always there. But I think I agree with Zach. I think he's there. I think he could be something special, and hopefully he lands in the right spot.
Sure.
For Zach Charbonnet. All right.
We are seeing one of these players who I think could be a steal go off the board, which is Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer goes at the 2-2. I don't know if he's someone I want to spend a first-round pick on in a non-tight end premium format, which is what we're mocking with. But I think he could be a really good steal and potentially be one of those guys who instantly, as he heads into year 2, is a top 6 Dynasty tight end, kind of like what we saw with Pat Fryermuth's rookie season.
At the Dragon, yep.
So I like this pick. I think this makes a lot of sense. Are you in on Mayer?
Mayer, 100%, and especially in this format, 6'4", nearly 250, especially with Tom Brady in question. In this scenario, this Chris Godwin, what's going to happen with him? Mike Evans, what's going to happen with him? I think he can definitely be a focal point to this offense. And whatever offense, I think we've seen one where he went to the Lions, which we really liked. Even maybe Michael Mayer to the Jags would be very interesting, and they get rid of Evan Ingram. So there's so many different scenarios where he can go and be on a productive team. So I'm excited about him, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about him as well. I don't think he necessarily screams as like some sort of freak athlete, but he's just very good in most areas of being a tight end. And he's a good blocker, so I think he'll be on the field from day one. Often. Day one starter. A lot of these tight ends, you kind of wait. So, yeah. So Mayer's probably going to be a start from day one.
Michael Myers?
Zach does here at the 103.
Let's see.
Okay, so it is Sean Tucker off the board.
Is it Sean Tucker? Oh, yes. Okay, Sean Tucker, yes, please.
There is a running back that I'm thinking about right now who is going to be someone's massive steal of the day. And I like Sean Tucker, but I hate this landing spot for him. So I would not take Sean Tucker over the other running back that I'm talking about right now. But Sean Tucker goes off the board. I know you're a big Sean Tucker guy. I've grown to love him a little bit more this year. He is tied as my RB3 with someone else. But the landing spot here, this is worst case scenario for Sean Tucker.
Yeah.
Being stuck behind Joe Mixon, who is on the books until 2026. I view Tucker as like a Tony Pollard type player who can, maybe Joe Mixon takes a step back and Sean Tucker kind of just like Zeke and Tony. Maybe over the next couple of years, Sean Tucker develops into that. But the amount of money they're paying Joe Mixon, I just don't see him not being the starter for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I think in this scenario, it's definitely difficult to kind of put it in perspective of what Sean Tucker can be. If he goes to any other landing spot, I think it's there. But yeah, I mean, I love Sean Tucker. I think he has good strength. I think he plays with strength. I think he has surprisingly explosive and everything that I like from a running back. Honestly, I think he's a workhorse guy. I think he's a 3-down guy, in my personal opinion. He's a pass catching guy as well. So it's unfortunate in this scenario that he goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think we're going to find there's going to be running backs that we love that are going to be in the depth chart. Unfortunately, someone like a Jerome Ford, who I really liked in the 2021 class or 2022 class, and he went to the Browns, like behind Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I hope this doesn't happen to Sean Tucker, and just gotta wait and see what happens, honestly. But yeah. I like Sean Tucker. I love everything he can bring. He's a do-it-all back, in my personal opinion, and a guy that can be a workhorse.
Yeah, we will see. I hate the landing spot, but like the player. I'm not sold on him being a 3-down guy, but I do love a lot of areas of his game. I talked about this before on a previous stream, but I went through today's NFL running backs, and I looked at size relating to workhorse running backs in the NFL. All right, workhorse running backs who are over 205 pounds. Now, ESPN and PFF both have Tucker listed at 205. So that's what I'm going off right now, okay? But if you're looking at workhorse running backs over 205 pounds, you'll find 17 of those in the NFL. If you're looking at workhorse running backs who are under 205 pounds, you're looking at 2. Austin Eckler, CMC. CMC is a freak and not of this world. Austin Eckler is an incredible story who is also a freak who developed, but he wasn't this guy day one. It took a while, and he was stuck behind Melvin Gordon. So maybe you could see a similar pathway for Sean Tucker. But there's a lot more scenarios in which he's not a workhorse than he is. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be value in fantasy, because he absolutely has improved as a pass catcher. Great explosiveness, great vision. I don't think he has home run speed, but I think he has very good speed. But yeah, I'm a big fan of his. I just don't think I'm taking him over another running back that's currently on the board, and especially that landing spot. I'm not a fan of that landing spot.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's see where Trading Post, right? Maybe, I don't know if he's still there. He went on auto.
Yeah, he looks to be active.
Yeah, I see the little.
Sean Tucker's a 9 to 15 touch per guy. I would agree he can develop into that. I'm not so sure that he is he's going to be that from day one. I don't think he's one of those players like day one, if he's stuck behind a guy like Mixon on a big contract, where he's going to drastically improve his value year one. He says, so what you're telling me is Sean Tucker's the next CMC. That's all I need to hear.
Exactly. He's the guy. Take him at the 101.
I don't think he has true home run speed personally, but I do think he has great bursts.
Yeah, I don't think he gets to his speed either.
He gets to his speed quickly, but I don't see any sort of like elite speed. Okay, maybe Trading Post is gone. What are we doing here? I see him active, so we'll find out what Trading Post is going to do here.
Someone's typing now. Okay, hold on.
What's up, William?
Someone's Trading Post.
Yeah, R.I.P. Tua and Lamar.
He said Rashid Rice.
Okay, Rashid Rice goes off the board here.
He goes to the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken.
I like this landing spot for Rashid Rice because
the Patriots in second.
They don't have anyone like Rashid Rice on that roster. There is no one like Rashid Rice. So you could see him with his athleticism, with his play style, developing a role for him pretty early on into his career. I think I'm a little bit higher on Rashid Rice than you. If I'm not mistaken. He had offers from big programs.
He did.
He just chose to go to SMU because I believe he liked the history, the culture of SMU wide receivers. I could be wrong, but it's not as if this was a prospect who didn't have offers at big schools, because he did. But there's 4 things I really like about him. Size, 6'3", 206, and he plays with a lot of strength as well outside.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a
strong guy.
He's a difficult guy to get down. He's a versatile player, played 90% in the slot as a junior, 82.5% out wide as a senior. He's very good as a contested catcher. I think my concern for him is the drop rate. It's really high, 9.4%. That is really bad. We need to fix that. But as an athlete, he's an incredible athlete. I see a little bit of Chris Godwin in him. So I really like this pick. Would I take him this high? I don't know yet. It's going to depend on draft capital. I think there's other players I'm going to take over him still on the board, but I don't hate it. I'm not saying it's too early. I'm just trying to figure out when I would do it personally.
Yeah, when you would do it. I think he feels more comfortable maybe where I'm at, 2.8, 2.9.
Yeah, I think 2.7 to 2.9. You're right, around that range.
That feels really comfortable with there's a couple other people that I would rather have. But yeah, Rashid Rice is something. I think he has a potential to be something. I don't know if he's going to be like an XY receiver. I think he's more of a Y, a good complementary guy, in my personal opinion. A guy that can take a little bit of attention away from a big body guy, from the true XY receiver. If he does go to a team that has somebody else. Where here in the Patriots, obviously, is kind of saying that he's going to be the number one. It kind of feels like. So I'm interested to see where he goes.
Yeah. I think he complements Jacoby pretty well in that scenario as well. So yeah, I like that. Hey, shout out to the 203 people watching this.
We appreciate you guys, man.
Big love, guys. Thank you so much for your support. You might be asking yourself, I doubt anyone is, but how could I maybe support you guys back for putting out this content? It's quite simple. Just drop a like, subscribe. That's all you got to do. We are 25 subscribers away from 4,000. It would be so sick if we could hit that on today's stream. If you haven't subscribed and you've been enjoying our content and maybe you've been lurking, maybe today could be the day that you do decide to subscribe. Get us to that 4,000 mark. And I promise you, we have so much good content coming out. Whether you agree or disagree with our opinions is up to you. But I promise you, you're going to at least be entertained by the content, and we really enjoy what we do. Are you not entertained? Okay, let's see what happens here at the 205.
All right, come back in. I'm probably reaching a little here, he said.
What the?
Okay, let's see.
Let's see, who's it gonna be?
Still typing. Probably doing a little blurb here. Tank Bigsby at the 205.
I cannot believe there is a certain player still available right now.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna go.
I'm shocked. But okay, Tank goes off the board.
Yeah.
I don't think this is too early. It's a good landing spot. He went to the Dolphins. What was it, third or second round draft capital?
I think it was third round. Yeah, third round. Tank, 6 foot, 208. Going to the Dolphins. I mean, another big body guy that you need to kind of punch it in outside of these young, like I guess you have Raheem there. You had Chase. You don't really got nobody else anymore, so they need the running back depth.
Maybe, who knows what happened with Jeff? I think he's a free agent. Maybe Raheem comes back on a 1-year deal. Tank is your. Hey, thank you so much for the sub, Hunter. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. But I like Tank. Second time around evaluating his film, I found more things that I liked about him, but I saw a very inconsistent player. I felt like on one play he would look like a top 3 running back in the class. The next play he looks like just a guy. Very inconsistent with his vision, with his burst, with his speed, with his lateral movements. At times he looks very good, and at times he looks sluggish and lazy. I couldn't really figure it out. But what he absolutely has is strength. Yards after the contacts per attempt, he was 12th in the nation. If you look at running backs who had 100 attempts, and he bounces off defenders really easily. Dogzo, thank you so much for the donations, brother. He says, just tuned in. What it do? Not much, brother. Just having a good time. Thank you so much for the donation. That's very, very kind of you.
Appreciate you, man. That's awesome.
But he absolutely has strength for days. Very good goal line back. But again, I'm concerned by the inconsistencies with his vision, with the burst. Sometimes he looks like he's got burst, and he looks like he has decent speed. Other times he looks like, is this guy even aware that he has a ball in his hands? It's confusing to me. But when I look at comps, I'm looking at like a Brian Robinson type player. Joshua Kelly has a floor. That's the kind of comps I'm getting with Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, Tank is he's the power guy, right? He's a change of pace. Well, not really a change of pace, depending on your offense and who's already there. I think he will be the change of pace guy that's going to come in and be like, okay, he's going to potentially pass block for you. He's going to potentially get that first down for you on a short yardage, a goal line guy potentially. But he does have the speed. He has the opportunity to kind of make a difference here. I think there's so much to improve on. What you said, the vision. You know, I don't think he necessarily has a crazy like jump cut. He can't really bounce around on the side. He's not the quickest guy. He's a guy that's going to help you in the short yardage and be something.
I think that his lack of burst and explosiveness at times hurts his vision, because I think he looks at opportunities like I couldn't make that. You know,
Right.
he's like
Midway through the runs, like, look at all that room. There's no way
I just couldn't make that. I know I'm not going to get there. Whereas you have other guys who are more explosive in this class, and they probably could hit that. So maybe he knows his role. I don't know, but
know your role. Just do.
I cannot believe there is still a certain running back on the board.
Nah, Bomb's about to take.
How is this possible?
He's already typing. Look how quick he is. Look, he's typing already. I know who Zach is talking about, but I can't go over his landing spot in the draft, he said. Okay.
What the?
He makes a pick.
Oh my gosh.
He's riding.
You're
He's
kidding me.
If Bomb doesn't take him,
Oh my gosh. What is happening right now?
You already know Daniel Macy is going to take him, for sure.
Me and Daniel are
100%.
typically on the same page, but... Okay, Hendon Hooker goes here?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I liked Hendon this year, but after the injury, is it third round draft capital here, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I think so. Where does he go
I think this is too high for Hendon, especially the age.
It's the Seahawks. And the landing spot specifically. And we talked about this last time. I think when somebody else took him in the last mock. We were saying, well, why are you going to get a Hendon Hooker that it's just a injured, younger Geno Smith, a guy that's probably not going to be ready this year to play and contribute for your team? I get it. You know, you probably need the depth or whatever the case may be, but this is not somebody that you're going to be investing in. You know, why don't you get a third round wide receiver, a third round corner, a third round old line, then a quarterback that's going to sit behind Geno Smith. Once again, the talent there for Hendon Hooker was phenomenal. What he was doing this year was great, but with the injury now and the draft capital, I just think that he's going to get lost. I don't think there's going to be any opportunity. If there is opportunity, maybe his pathway is like Geno, where
Geno was an early second round pick.
No, I know he wasn't a second round. He wasn't. He was a first round pick. He went to the Jets. He was going to be.
No,
this
he
guy.
was an early second round pick.
Okay, he was going to be this guy, and it just was. It didn't work out. But he has it, but it just didn't work out. And I think this is what Hendon Hooker could.
At this point, with this landing spot and draft capital, he's not even the next quarterback I would take, though. And I like Hendon Hooker. I was one of the only people talking about him during the season. Until Tennessee went off, and then everyone was talking about him. But I just can't do it. I can't take him this early.
You know, just take him now, Daniel.
Oh my goodness, what is happening right now?
Just get it done and over with. Graham Gano, hey.
There are so many players I would have taken over Hendon still.
He went Kendra Miller.
I'm being honest.
Macy went Kendra Miller.
Shut up.
I'm serious. Kendra Miller. Oh man, that's funny. I haven't done my full scouting report on Kendra personally, but hey, there's definitely opportunity for him to be something. You know,
y'all are playing with me now. There's no way anyone actually thinks Kendra over Zach Evans. I just said it. I said it. I had to say it. What's happened?
I'm just gonna make my pick, and I'm gonna take Zach Evans. Just start the clock. I'll make my pick, and we can talk about both of these guys back to back here.
What the?
Well, Daniel said, "Wait, Evans is still there." Well, GG's. You're too late, brother.
What is going on? What's for dinner?
What's for dinner? Is MP in the chat?
Hey, thank you so much for the sub. PS4 Gamer.
Wow.
By the way, sub update, just so everyone's aware, we are currently 21 subscribers away from 4,000. You could help us get there tonight.
21.
Okay. So he took Kendra. We'll talk about him in 1 second. But first, who are you taking here?
I want Zach Miller.
Zach Miller?
Zach Miller, Zach Evans.
Okay.
And here he went to the Los Angeles Rams in the third round.
And people don't like that landing spot because
I think there's so much in question. Sean McVay,
Cam Akers?
Cam Akers is there. What's going to happen? I think this team is kind of in shambles if Sean McVay just freaking built his Super Bowl team, mortgage literally the next 5 years of this team and says, you know what, I'm just done. Like, thanks for the opportunity. I got my ring. I'm walking away. I think that's
okay. Let's say worst case scenario, Zach Evans came out last year and he landed on the Texans. He is still the focal point of the offense of that team, just like Dameon Pierce. Mm-hmm. Now he lands with the Rams, who have Cam Akers, who has 1 year left on his contract. Who knows if he's going to get re-signed there or not? Based on the current running back market, it's unlikely. It can happen. Hard to say. But will the Rams look at extending a player who has one of the worst injuries for running back, who he has recovered really well from this year at the back end of the season? But will they want to spend long-term money on Cam Akers? I don't know about that. Is Cam Akers going to beat out Zach Evans out of training camp? I don't know about that. Right. Look, I was a huge Zach Evans guy most of the year. Now, reviewing his 2022 film, I had much more concern than previously, specifically with his vision, because at times he does display good vision, and at other times he just doesn't seem to find the best running lane available. It's just not consistent. It's confusing. And we didn't really see much of him as a pass catcher. Those two things concern me a little bit, but everything else is there. We had the size, 6 foot, 215, true workhorse type running back size. Great lateral quickness, really quick feet, moves great in between tackles, very good burst, very explosive player, and has good long run speed. I would say him and Sean Tucker are very similar in that area with their explosiveness and their long run speed. He has great strength. He's not afraid to initiate any sort of contact. And on the goal line, he has a very high IQ as a goal line running back. Not only does he have the strength, but he knows where to attack to get over the goal line. We see that on film. My comp for him is still Melvin Gordon. I think the floor is a little bit lower, like a Lawrence Maroney type player, decisive downhill runner. But to let Zach Evans go to the 2.8, like, what are we doing? Zach Evans is the third running back in last year's class if he comes out. He's better than James Cook. He's better than Dameon Pierce. He's better than Tyler Algier. He's at the 2.8 in a better running back class?
He's at the 2.8? The hell's wrong with y'all? Huh?
What's going on right now?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not in love with Zach Evans.
You cannot love him, but 2.8?
I'm just, I was trolling in the chat. 2.8 is pretty low. Look, there's a lot of things I still haven't scouted Zach Evans specifically yet. So I haven't seen his 2022 film, but in 2021, it just was, when he was at TCU, there was just things that I didn't necessarily like. I think he has the speed and the ability to be the guy, but I think he could, in my opinion, Zach says that he sees him as an all-down guy that can potentially do it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He has the potential to be that. I'm not saying he will, but I think he has the potential to be that.
Right, and I don't see the potential there. I see more of like a change of pace guy, a guy that's going to come in, be a third down guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield in that scenario. But I don't want to go too much into it without the 22 film. He's still on my list to continue to scout for 2022. But from what I've seen in 2021, I didn't necessarily love, and that was one of our biggest, I guess, disagreements, or our biggest what's the
point
word?
of difference.
Point of difference is Zach was really high at the time of Zach Evans, and I was really low. And
he's tied for my RB3 right now with Sean Tucker.
Right.
As of right now. I enjoyed watching Kendre as far as just watching college football. But when you put on Kendre Miller's film, it's not that he has many weaknesses. It's just he doesn't have any elite trait. There's not a single trait I could point, like the short area quickness burst is pretty good. It's okay. Long run speed, definitely not there. Not a home run guy. Vision and patience, good at times. Is he great laterally? No, he's okay. There's just not a specific area I can point to where he's elite.
From what I saw this year, because Kendra Miller is another guy I haven't gotten to yet. But from what I saw this year out of the games that I've watched, and everything, I think he has the ability to be a good running back. And he has the ability to be a guy that could potentially handle a workload
agreed.
Handle a workload. And once again, I haven't scouted him in 2022, so I need to see before I get too much in depth of the thought process. But I think there's opportunity for Kendrick. I'm not saying you're not saying that. I think there is opportunity for him to find a spot in the NFL, and I don't think he'll get lost, personally. So that's probably the best thing I can say without the scout. But it should be done this week, so I should be done scouting these running backs, which is exciting.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, Kendra, I like him. I was someone who was like bringing him up. If he's going to be a relevant fantasy asset, it's going to be a similar pathway to, I would say, like Chris Carson. One of my comps for him. Guy who kind of makes his way. It's not like instant workload. You're going to kind of have to make your way through a room and stand out. And that's the problem. I don't see many standout traits of his. And I don't believe he has elite contact balance. But we all have different opinions, and that's okay. Man, Zach Evans at the 2.8. I just think that's ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous, but here we are.
Here we are.
Even if you hate the guy, you can't let him fall past the 2.3, the 2.4.
What the?
He's got second round draft capital, guys.
Pick him up and trade him away. Let's see where Martin goes here. Give me the Stormin' Mormon. Whoa, here we go.
Oh, gosh. Is that Jaren Hall? Oh, is this...
that's Tanner McGee, right?
Is Tanner McKee's Mormon? I didn't know that.
I'm assuming because, yes, if you guys don't know the history of Tanner McGee this year, and Tanner McKee, he was in the 2018 class coming into college, which was behind Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, and then he did take a year off in his freshman year to do a missions trip, goes away, and then he comes back his sophomore year, gets a starting position at Stanford, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a starting quarterback there for the past 2 years. So
big guy. I think he's like 6'6", if I'm not mistaken. Good size. Doesn't really fit the modern day NFL and what they're looking for, but could be an interesting prospect. Kind of like a Davis Mills type.
Yeah, he could beat you. He could beat you with his mind, just not his legs, unfortunately. But once again, that's just not the mold we're in the NFL, which will give him it's a massive disadvantage for his talent, unfortunately. Unless he can bring it back and do something on the field, but it's not really happening like that anymore, Yeah.
All right, let's see what John does here. I thought maybe you guys would leave Zach Evans to me. People who are like watching this for the first time are like, this guy is so unnecessarily extra. Welcome. Welcome
to the stream.
All the running backs I really love are kind of gone at this point, to be honest. There are some incredible steals at wide receiver on the board.
Yeah, there are some
because of some very questionable picks, in my opinion, that went off the board earlier, which is leading to some very, very good steals, I think, at the wide receiver spot here.
Let's see where John goes.
All right, John, what are you thinking, brother? What are you thinking, my guy? By the way, sub update, guys. We are currently at we need 21 subs, which I don't know. I think that's probably what it was last time, but 21 subscribers away from 4K. If you haven't subscribed yet, do us a favor.
You have to resume it. Sorry. Yes.
Okay, my bad. Okay, it's resumed.
What?
And
just be ready. See. Just be ready for the snipe. Okay, get your heart ready here. I know
everyone knows who I want.
I know who you're thinking. Just let it. Okay. We prepared ourselves because we knew it was happening, and it's okay. We prepared ourselves. This is why we're here. Xavier Hutchinson. Zach was like, Zach opened up his notes on him. He was just reviewing it. He was like, all right, I'm chilling. I have it all. I know what I'm gonna say. There's no way he's gonna take him. And he got sniped. He got sniped. This is the downfall, guys, of when you try to be a content creator and you have to give all your thoughts out to the world. It's actually never your thoughts. It would like Xavier Hutchinson would never be like your guy. He's actually the community's guy. You can go ahead though.
Fuck me. Yeah. Xavier Hutchinson goes off the board. And still, you guys have not let me draft him yet in a single Dynasty draft.
You know what you should do? You should just...
I'll just take him at my first round pick next time.
Yeah.
Okay. I will still talk about him. I love him. I think he's one of those players who's going to drastically rise up draft boards as we get closer to draft season. He's a late declare. I believe he'll be 22 years old when he comes into the NFL, but that's because he went to JUCO for a bit. So he had a late start in college football at Iowa State. Now, he already holds Iowa State's single season record for receptions. He's a dual sport athlete in high school. I think he was just one of those players who people who create draft class or high school recruiting classes kind of missed out on a guy like Xavier Hutchinson. Great size, really good size at, 6'3", 205. That's ideal for the modern day outside wide receiver. And when I watch his film, I just fall in love. I truly fall in love with this player. As a route runner, I think he already is. I think he will enter the NFL as a top 35 route runner already when he enters the NFL. And again, I am scared saying some of these things publicly because I don't know if the NFL is going to agree. If the NFL doesn't agree and he gets late draft capital, I have to reevaluate. Not completely, because I still think he could be a huge steal. But I think he is an incredible route runner. Clean, quick cuts at the break point of the routes, great first step. He has that rare ability to like lull a defensive back and then completely leave them behind and gain space instantly. Great separator. Good hands, special body control. We've talked about this before, but his quarterback play was really rough this year, and that led to a lot of underthrows and overthrows where Hutchinson was required to show off his body control, his ball tracking skills, and he did that really well, great in one-on-one scenarios. I think the speed is pretty good. The only thing that I don't like is late declare, and he's a JUCO player, but I've said this before, I'll say it again. If Xavier Hutchinson was 2 years younger and he was playing at Alabama or Ohio State, he would be a top 20 pick in the first round of the NFL draft this year. I truly believe that.
I think
we'll see if the NFL agrees. Maybe they don't, or maybe they do. But last thing I'll say is my pro comp for him. We're talking Terry McLaurin, Adam Thielen. That's the kind of player that I see in Xavier Hutchinson. I'm a big fan of his. And keep in mind, neither of those players are first-round picks anyway. They developed into very good players. And maybe he is the next steal. Terry McLaurin came out a little bit old, right? He was a third-round pick, but he was at Ohio State, so he's at a more well-known school. But I think he could be one of the steals of the draft. I'm hoping we see third-round draft capital for him. If we do, I will not change my rankings at all on him. I just need third-round draft capital. That's all I need. So I'm a big fan of his.
One thing I want to say, and kind of, was it Christian Watson that kind of emerged at the Senior Bowl? Or was that a little bit before? Correct me if I'm wrong.
He was a pretty big riser, but I think it was more the athletic traits.
Right, because I think I'm not comparing the traits. I'm
situation.
The situation. The situation. I think he can get his draft capital at least to an early second if he performs well at the Senior Bowl. If he is even invited, I'm not necessarily sure. I don't know if there's a list of names already out for Xavier Hutchinson's. If he's going to be on the list, but I think he could be a person that it's just going to get more recognition as we get closer to the draft, and more opportunity to where we see him, you know, maybe go higher than some of these other players in a rookie draft. Like I can see him going at the end of the first, early second, if he does get the second round draft capital.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's really exciting. Getting him here at the 210 is good. But I think he's just going to continue to be a riser, man.
I agree. I think he's going to be a riser.
He's going to go really up there.
He's one of the players that I truly think could make one of the biggest risers. But again, draft capital is going to be, honestly, right now, like at this very point, he is my wide receiver 5.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page with Xavier. Yeah, we're wide receiver 5 as well. I
would take him even earlier. Like if he gets second round draft capital, if that's possible, he's probably my 203.
Right. Okay. No, I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense. And if you look at teams in the second round, right? Like, let me just go to like the full order draft board here. In the second round, you get teams that, let's just say Houston doesn't go for the
he won't be early second though, I don't think.
I know, I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, if he does push it up, I think he can go in at least the top 10, top 15 in the second round, right? And the teams that are there, there's so much opportunity for him. Pittsburgh. Right? So you see Houston, you see Arizona. If they talk about DeAndre Hopkins moving, I doubt he goes to India. I doubt he goes to the Rams. I doubt he goes to Seattle. Maybe he goes to Vegas, but it doesn't make any sense. Carolina, New Orleans. I mean, there's so many opportunities for him to go. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. I mean, if the Giants still go wide receiver in the first, they could take him in the second.
100%.
Chicago could take him late second. Dallas could take him late second, and he could serve as the X there. Put Michael Gallup back as the Y. Man, I want so. There's not a player I want more to rise this year that I have personal investment in than Xavier Hutchinson.
No, yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a lot of guys that I really believe can take it to the next level in the NFL. And Xavier Hutchinson is one of those guys.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, here I am. Xavier Hutchinson's off the board. And I think based off what the chat is saying, they believe I'm going to do something that I am not going to do. There is a certain wide receiver in this year's class that I think is a Fugazi. I think if people put on the film, they'll be like, oh, wow, this is how this player won. And that's going to be tough to translate to the NFL. So, no, that's not the player that I'll take, and we'll talk about him more later. I think he's a Fugazi. I think he's going to be, if he gets first-round draft capital, early second, I think that team is going to live to regret that pick. And I could be wrong.
You could be wrong.
So, looking at my options,
Fugazi.
There's no running backs I really want to grab here, unfortunately. I still need to scout Israel Abanikanda, Mohamed Ibrahim, Kenny McIntosh, Chase Brown, Rashawn Johnson. Those are players I still need to scout in depth. But I don't think I want to take any of them here. Now, there's a wide receiver that I really love that I could probably take here. I just don't think anyone knows about him.
I'm with you.
Unless they've listened to me. And I don't think I should risk it and let him fall. But there's another player who has good draft capital. He was drafted at least in this landing spot link that we're using. And he's very close in my grading system. So
Fugazi.
I am making this pick as if this is the draft capital and the player that I want to draft doesn't get draft capital in the first 3 rounds. Okay?
What the?
So if that player does get draft capital in the first 3 rounds, then I will select him over this next guy. But they're so close in my rankings that I'm going to take the player who was drafted, and that is Zay Flowers.
Give it a Zaza.
Welcome to the squad. Sorry, what were you gonna say? Zay Flowers.
No, Zay Flowers. No, he went to the Texans. Yeah, guy. Ugh. Boston College, 5'10", 177 pounds.
You're not a fan of him.
I'm not.
But I am.
He's currently my wide receiver 12.
Sure. Yeah, for me at the moment, he's my wide receiver 8.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's my wide receiver 9. I'm sorry. He's my wide receiver 9 at the moment. I love his speed. I think he has very good speed that can translate in the NFL. Is it elite? No, I wouldn't say, but it is definitely well above average. I think after the catch, he's a very smart player. He's got very good burst and lateral quickness. So that really helps him in the open field. But not only that, there's this trait that is way undervalued in wide receivers like him, where the IQ in the open field, specifically knowing how to use a defender's leverage against them. If you're making the catch and you can haul in a ball while also recognizing the defenders that are all around you and knowing how you're going to get into the open space around them, that is an incredibly underrated, undervalued asset I think that Zay Flower has. Pretty versatile player in college, lined up over 66% out wide and 32% in the slot. I think he probably is limited to a slot role because of the size. Elite dominator rating, excuse me, at 36.1%. 35 is elite. 35 is like breathtaking. Like, oh my God, that's incredible. He demanded and contributed to that much of the offense. Broke out a little bit late at 20 years old, so I don't love that. And the reason I can't have him as high as some other people, because some people have him top 5. The reason I can't have him top 5, one, the drop percentage at 10.3% is incredibly high, and you're not going to be able to show off after the catch if you're not making the catch consistently. And targets are earned, and if you're dropping targets, then they're not going to keep coming your way. I think he can improve, though. And then I don't really know what to think about him versus press coverage. I didn't get to see much press coverage versus Zay Flowers, and that's still a question mark. So it's difficult for me to really say exactly my thoughts on him. But I have a pro comp. You're going to have to come back with me about a decade, and maybe you remember this player, maybe you don't. But
I remember.
I loved watching Eddie Royal, and that's exactly what I see in Zay Flowers. I feel like they're very similar in their game. Go watch Zay. I mean, we like to watch entire games. We don't watch highlights when we do film evaluation. But if you want to just look at these two players, watch Eddie Royal first, and then go watch some Zay Flower highlights, and you'll see some similarities. I think the floor is a lot lower, though. We're talking like a Jamison Crowder, KJ Hamler type player, so there's a very low floor here because of the size concerns. But I think there are some of those traits I look at where I'm like, this could translate. This could translate really, really well.
Yeah, and my concern is the body, the inconsistent hands, just like you said, and the press coverage, especially if he's going to be playing slot in press. Whatever the case may be, in the hands, you're going to be a guy that a lot of teams are going to be relying on to try get that first down. It's 3rd and 5, a quick slant. You can't catch the ball. How are you in press, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big concern if we both believe he's going to be limited to the inside, or to the slot, excuse me.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think the speed is there.
I want to just quickly allow people to comment who they think the 112 should be, the 212. Our friend has left. Understandable, it's a long mock draft, but let us know who you think should be drafted here, and the most commented player will be who we choose. But sorry, you were saying?
No, yeah, and I just think the speed is there, and I think that's what kind of helps him. A lot of teams love the speed. A lot of teams loves the field stretching. A lot of teams loves the quickiness, the jitteriness, and everything that he could potentially bring to the team. But I think it's just very limited. If I'm not mistaken, he was also a punt returner, kick returner. I saw a lot of that in his game as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if I'm confusing Zay with somebody else, but I think I've seen a couple as well.
Yeah. Just on Hyatt, I mean, he'll be drafted here soon, I'm sure. But if the Chiefs draft him in the first round, then I just don't think they're that stupid. I don't think they're that dumb. I think they're very good scouts. And if the Chiefs draft him in the first round, I will still avoid him in every dynasty draft, because then he becomes McCole Hardman for the next 4 years. Or MVS now. What's up, Kyle? He says, let's hear a little analysis on the trade. We definitely will. We'll do that right afterwards. Sleep on Tank if you want. My comp is Dalvin Cook. Oh. We see him quite differently, but that is okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Dalvin up with him personally.
Dynasty Life says, what's up, guys? Favorite Dynasty channel. Love your content. Trying to be like y'all one day. Just starting up. Nice. Love it.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Good luck. I mean, it's definitely fun, man. It's definitely fun. You're going to kill it. I had no idea Zach Evans was there when I picked. My bad. No, you're good, Daniel. It's okay.
You're good.
Zay Flowers going to be early second round. I definitely think he could. Okay, so what's the most commented player here? We have Hyatt, Kincaid, Stetson Bennett, Hyatt. Okay, why don't we go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off and talk about Jalen Hyatt?
Yeah, Jalen Hyatt in this scenario here goes in the second round, if I'm not mistaken, to the Colts, a guy that, you know, Zach and I aren't necessarily high on. He's currently my wide receiver 10. I think there's the attributes and everything that he does bring is there. The speed is fantastic. The ability of him getting on the back of the defenders is great. But when you watch all his film, and like Zach said, you know, like everything you see is blown coverages. And that's not exciting. That's not like saying, what have you done to get there? Was it just blown coverages, or did you manipulate the line? Did you manipulate the defender? Like, what did you do to get there outside of, you know, the defender not necessarily giving you that one-on-one opportunity? I think he could be successful, but I think what we have on tape right now is not necessarily saying, okay, he has done it all purely himself, and he was the guy that actually made this happen. There's a lot of good things to his game, but I don't necessarily like it.
The first 7 touchdowns I watched on film from Jalen Hyatt, blown coverages, wide open, over the top. The speed's there, no doubt, but he's a very simple player in my eyes. Speed, over the top, but that's pretty much what you're getting. He does not possess elite or above average traits as a route runner. He's not very shifty in the open field. He's not very difficult to get down unless he's past you with his speed. There's not a lot of explosiveness after the catch. Most of his yards after the catch, if you're gonna say he's a good yak player and you're only looking at analytics, well, you're completely ignoring the film, because if it's a deep ball and it's a 50-yard pass and he catches it at the 30-yard line and there's no one there and he has 30 free yards ahead of him, that is counted as yards after the catch. That doesn't mean he's a good yak player, and that doesn't mean it's going to translate in the NFL. In fact, when we talk about questions versus press coverage, there's not a player I have more questions about this year than Jalen Hyatt. I bookmarked a tweet. Jalen Hyatt had 1 reception versus press coverage in 2022. That's it. He had 1 reception versus press coverage.
And the reason of that being is because of teams and scouts understanding how dangerous he is with his speed. Once again, his speed he has really good speed.
He does. He'll probably run a 4.35 or so.
Yeah, like I read something where he said that he already ran a 40 that was 4.3. It was like 4.31, like 4.33 or something.
Really?
Like
okay.
That. So I have it here in my notes. Apparently ran a 4.31 40. Can easily be one of the fastest wide receiver in the class if he does run that fast, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what teams understood. Teams understood that, hey, we need to put another safety up.
But well, they didn't understand very well.
Yeah, they didn't understand very well, clearly, because every time he was up and that safety was up, the safety always pulled in somehow, right? Pulled down. So we'll see. Pause.
Yeah. Campbell makes a great point. He is going to get some respect over the top, which will give him a pretty good cushion on his routes. But I just struggle to see him being any sort of superstar fantasy wide receiver. Our comps for him, at least mine, ceiling is Will Fuller, I don't know that he reaches that. I think a more realistic comp is MVS. Exactly what you're getting in MVS.
Yeah, I like NVS.
I don't see much more than that. And we're talking about a player who is never going to demand any sort of 8 to 9 targets a game. He's probably getting, what do you think, like 4 to 5 targets a game? Makes 2 to 3 catches a game. It's, I don't know that there's a scenario in which you feel excited to start him in fantasy, even as a rookie.
You know who I thought of right now? Maybe it's not the best comp, but maybe the pathway with the expectation. For some reason, I just thought of Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think he's a little bit shorter. Donovan Peoples-Jones came in as like the field stretcher. The guy that
I think DBJ might be longer. Let me double check. I think he might be taller.
Yeah, he's 6'2". I know that. I just looked it up. He is taller, but I think the pathway and the expectation of what we thought of Donovan Peoples, like, okay, he was a late round guy. He has high upside. Maybe, and I think Jalen Hyatt has the draft capital, but I think that's the pathway in career I see him going when he gets into the NFL. Yeah. Like, he's not going to be the focus. He's just going to be a guy that comes in. All right, it's 3rd and 12. Hyatt, thank you so much, right? So, like, thank you for catching the ball. Now you're going back on the bench. You know, like, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know, man. Look, have we missed on prospects before? Sure, we definitely have. But I think that we do hit more than we miss. And I would be truly shocked, and I will hold my hand up if I'm wrong, but if Hyatt gets 1st round or early 2nd round draft capital, I think that team will massively regret it. Massively. And production like that is not replicable in the NFL. It's just not. That's just not going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So, anyway, that's the end of the 2nd round. So we have Zach Charbonnet at the 201. Love him. Michael Mayer at the 2-2. Great value. Sean Tucker at the 2-3. He goes to the Bengals. Rashee Rice to the Patriots. We have Tank Bigsby. I think he's a Dolphin. Hinton Hooker goes to the Seahawks. Kendre Miller. Then we have Zach Evans. I went on my little rant about how he should have been off the board. Tanner McKee goes off the board. My guy, Xavier Hutchinson. Then we have Zay Flowers and Jalen Hyatt. We will do the 3rd round. Should we allow people to pick, but we'll just go quicker, or should it be back and forth between you and I?
I would just say let them pick right in the chat, but just let everyone have the opportunity to make it. So just let the draft go, and then we can read through each pick that they put through. Does that make sense?
So let's just go through it quickly then. But just before we do that, just a friendly reminder, guys, if you can drop us a follow on Twitter. We are trying to grow our Twitter presence.
That's right.
And trying to be more active over there. We know it's important to the Dynasty community to be active on Twitter. I've been working a lot to try and get film for you guys on my Twitter because YouTube does a lot of demonetization. So if you can do us a favor, drop us a follow. I got film on there. I'm talking about players, and Badake's putting out some great content as well. If you want to support us, we have a Patreon. You can check the link in the description if you'd like to. And you can also become a YouTube member here. And the last thing I'll say is please do us a favor and drop a like. We're currently at 191 likes. So that means if there's 9 people out there who haven't dropped a like, we can get to 200 today, which would be incredible.
Yeah,
and
we appreciate you.
We are also on 3,983 subs, meaning we are 17 subscribers away from 4K. 17 subscribers away from 4K.
Hey, we appreciate you guys, each and every one of you coming through, spending time with us. So it's all love. It's all love.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, just let them pick and see what happens. Get out, George. How we feeling?
What's up?
What the?
Appreciate you.
All right, let's see who it is.
And we'll just talk about him really quick. He says Dalton Kincaid. Oh, no. Would have gone Dalton Kincaid. Well, you haven't gone. Casey Brown said Dalton Kincaid. Okay, well, Dalton.
Okay, so Dalton Kincaid goes off the board. Is that right?
He went to the Lions here. I think we both. I really like him. A guy I haven't really evaluated yet, but the ability to go to the Lions, kind of take over that TJ Hawkinson role with Jared Goff, is kind of re-emerging. you would say, with this young team, young offensive line, I think he kind of fits the mold really well here.
Yeah. Not going to give you a ton as a blocker. And that's what worries me a little bit in the NFL as far as when does he get on the field. But I do agree he's a very good receiving threat. Mm-hmm. Okay, McGungy goes Marvin Mims. You like Mims. I'm pretty low on Mims. I just don't see a scenario in which he's a very fantasy relevant player, at best a wide receiver 4. But I think you have a higher belief of him.
Yeah, I have a higher belief of him. I think he's a prototypical slot receiver. He's a lot bigger. I think if we did this last time comparing him to Zay Flowers, I think he just brings a lot more, in my opinion. And he has the bigger body frame, and he has the weight to kind of bring it. I think there is things that he can improve on, but I think what he can do is fantastic in the slot. Personally, I love everything he's doing. And what he can do. I think the contested catch needs to go up a little bit higher. The yak is pretty good. He was 12th amongst wide receivers in 2020. So definitely has the ability to get the yak with the quarterback. I think it was the quarterback play. Spencer Rattler. It was terrible. But there's two sides of the coin when you kind of go in that scenario. But I like what he can do.
Yeah, I'm not a big Marvin Mims guy. I don't think we'll have much, if any, of him. I just think he's a very limited player and never averaged over 4.5 receptions a game. Being the number 1 there, I know it was in turmoil, but I just don't see many traits outside of his contested catch ability. Next is Parker Washington. And we love us some Parker Washington. Really weird frame. He is 6'10", 215, which is strange to us. We don't really understand it. Great ball skills. Contested catch rate of 71.4% this year. That was top 10 in college football. I think he's very good after the catch. Strong frame. I mean, he's got a running back frame, so he's very good after the catch just because of that frame size and size. I do think he needs to improve as a route runner, and he doesn't have very much speed in my opinion. But we'll see. He could be one of those special steals of the draft.
Yep. I like Parker Washington. He is my Xavier Hutchinson.
Okay.
Right. I think he is a guy. If I'm not mistaken, he's my wide receiver 6, right behind Xavier Hutchinson. And I like everything he can do. What he can be in the NFL is phenomenal. He just needs opportunity.
Okay, let's see what Trading Post is going to do. If you could let us know, Trading Post, who this pick is. That's a great pick. He says, I got no idea.
Try to have your picks ready, guys. I know it's a little bit...
Some people, yeah. I'll go ahead and take this shot to put one of my favorite sleepers out, which is Rome Odunze. I do not know if he is going to declare because now Michael Penix Jr. is coming back. But, yeah, so that is still a question mark. But I'm a big fan of his. Love his route running ability. And I think he has all the tools to be an elite route runner in the NFL. Decent speed, decent after the catch. But really his route running and separating is what stood out to me. I'm very, very excited to see what he could be in the NFL.
Yeah, 100%. There's definitely opportunity for him. And he had so many offers, right? Penn State, BYU, could have went to Tennessee, Florida, Miami, Oklahoma, Alabama. Like those are all the offers that he had, but decided to commit to Washington. So it's interesting, and I like what he can do. I think he's there as well. I think he's a great route runner as well. Phenomenal creating space, getting opportunity.
He went to Bishop Gorman, by the way. If anyone's watched the wide receiver or quarterback 1, you would know a little bit about Bishop Gorman. But yeah, I'm a big fan of his. All right, let's see what Comeback Kid does here.
He's typing. Tisbomb
no worries, Casey.
Have your ready as well. Daniel Macy, have your ready.
Luke Musgrave over Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, it'll be an interesting debate. Hyde is Gabe Davis, John Ross. Who is Michael Myers? Great comedian, legend.
Legend.
Yeah, I also can't believe he won the Blitnikoff Award. So frustrating.
Who are we waiting for? Comeback Kid?
Should have went Mo or Izzy. Parker gonna be a Pro Bowl level wide receiver at least.
least.
Nice, I like it. Yeah, we do like some Parker Washington. Corum is not available.
He's not available because he's not going into the NFL draft. He said wait, what? Apparently Rome announced he's staying today.
Did he?
Zach said.
That's
gonna
gonna
look it
really
up.
disappoint me.
See, Rome. Did he announce it on Twitter?
Yeah, 2 hours ago. I'm coming back. Okay. Well, that's disappointing, isn't it?
We're coming back for a third. Damn, son. GG's. Well, you take him off the list, which kind of makes him my Rome.
That is very, very disappointing.
All right, well, that kind of bumps everyone up essentially. So Zay Flowers not wide receiver 11. I have Rome as my wide 11.
Okay, 306 is Chase Brown, running back out of Illinois. I kind of view him very similar to Kendre Miller, like a very well-rounded running back. I wouldn't say there's any elite traits in his game, but I think he definitely has a chance to develop into like a part of a timeshare type running back. I think that's within his realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
Who was at the 305? Okay. We didn't have anyone.
No, he said he went Chase Brown. So Daniel, that was Chase Brown at the
306. No one at the 305. Okay. All right, I'm going to add someone at the 305. I'm going to add Cedric Tillman.
No, that's what I was going to take.
We're going to put Cedric Tillman at the 305. Chase Brown goes off the board. McGunky says, Zach, they're trolling you for how you misspelled Mayer. I know they are. D. Macy goes Nathaniel Dell. Oh, man. He's a fun player to watch.
The tank?
But I think he's going to get no draft capital. I'm not sure that he's drafted. This guy is 5'6", and I think he's 170 pounds. We've talked about it before. It kind of reminds us a little bit of Tutu Atwell. Mm-hmm. Fun story from Last Chance U. But he's 5'10", 165 pounds, guys.
It's not going to happen. Let's just move on.
I'm in my notes. I do not see a scenario in which this player can even be a wide receiver 2 on an NFL roster. In fact, I'm not even sure he will be on an NFL roster. Really fun player to watch in college, dominant guy, but yeah, I'm not so sure that he ever makes an impact in the NFL.
Yeah.
Tank's already gone.
Yeah, the person I am taking is Trey Palmer.
You're going Trey Palmer? Okay.
Yeah, trigger Trey. Let me just pull up my notes on him. Out of Nebraska here, 6'1", 190. I think it's interesting what he can do to LSU. Kick returner, punt returner there. There's some opportunities for him, but I think he'd probably just be limited to that. But if he can kind of make his way up and be the wide receiver 3, then maybe a wide receiver 2 somehow, there's some good opportunity. I think he has the abilities to get to that level. Contested catch definitely wasn't the best thing he was doing, and neither was the yak. But I think there's some good traits. I think he's a decent route runner. I think he has some good speed. Obviously, as a punt returner. So let's see what happens with Trey Palmer.
Yeah.
Jonathan goes Izzy.
He said I wanted to go KJ, but KJ's going back to Arkansas. Yeah, Daniel. I'm disappointed that the NFL didn't see enough in him yet, but maybe he'll come out next. All right, I believe this is Israel Abanikanda. Is that right? Mm-hmm. He said Izzy. So yeah. That's the running back out of Pitt. Is that for... Who's that for, Jeek? That's for John. Jeek didn't make a pick, did he?
Nah, he didn't make a pick, but it's okay.
Okay, for him...
Maybe we can do Darnell Washington or something.
Okay, yeah, Darnell Washington's a pretty good pick this late.
Another tight end there. Goes to
Probably shouldn't have
Saints.
gone that late, to be honest.
Yeah,
But we'll put him
6'7", nearly 300 pounds. Probably another offensive line in a scenario. One thing we would say he's probably a bit sluggish, really slow. Didn't have much production either. So I'm really interested to see where he's going to land and how he's going to contribute to an NFL team. But once again, another big body. He's probably just going to be a guy that's going to help come in, block, and maybe he'll get a a couple receptions, but I don't think it's going to be a massive production potentially.
Devonta Smith, yeah, JW, but Devonta Smith isn't 160 pounds, soaking wet. I think he's like, what, 170? What is Devonta Smith? Can you double check?
Yeah, let's see.
Is he 170, 180? 160 pounds, guys? I don't see a scenario in which Nathaniel Dell is successful, but I could be wrong. All right, I'm going to go ahead and... Who am I going to take here? I'm gonna go ahead and do the next two picks for us.
Yeah,
I want to highlight two running backs.
77.
What is he?
It says he's at 170 when you look it up on Google.
170 flat?
Yeah, it says 77 kilos, which is 170.
Okay. Yeah, still.
I just
Look,
think the talent is
I don't
significantly
think it's
different.
Yeah, they're
obviously,
completely different talents, but I don't know.
I think same frame in a way with weight, but Devonta Smith definitely taller. I mean, we've seen him be successful, but I think talent is different.
I am gonna go two running backs back to back here, and they're more just guys I want to put on the map for people. Like I could draft Deuce Vaughn, but I don't really like him all that much, and I could draft Kenny McIntosh. He probably deserves to be drafted, but I'm gonna draft two guys I just want to put on the map. The first one being Tyjae Spears. Really enjoyed watching him this year. Recovered from an ACL tear. Pretty explosive running back. I don't know exactly where he'll be drafted. Size is a bit of a concern. He's 5'10", 190. But he plays really strong. He had the 5th most yards after contact, right? In fact, he only had 26 less yards after contact than Bijan Robinson. Yards after the contact per attempt, which is probably a more accurate way to view it, 6th in college football of running backs who had 100 attempts. Missed forced tackles, he was 19th in the nation. So, yes, he's undersized, but he plays above his weight. Good contact balance, good lateral movement. Not much as a receiver. So that's a little bit concerning. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab Tyjae Spears here. And look, there are so many names I could point to right now, guys, as just like late round players to tell you about. Mohamed Ibrahim, Meehan Williams, I don't know if he's going to come back. Rashawn Johnson, like we talked about. I'd go Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State. We could go over Rakeem Jarrett here. But I want to highlight Dwayne McBride for a second. I just finished watching his film last night. And at minimum, he's interesting. Now, projecting him as a receiver is almost impossible because he had 2 receptions on the entire year. And it's not like he missed time. He played all the games. He had 2 receptions. He was targeted 4 times. So, UAB threw the ball 321 times this year. And McBride had 4 targets. That's about 1% of the target share. So projecting him as a receiver, I don't know how to do that. He also has a pretty big fumble problem. So I'm telling you, let's get the bad out of the way first. But very strong runner. I just talked about Tyjae Spears. Dwayne McBride is an even stronger runner. He's 3rd in yards after the contact. He is 2nd in yards after the contact per attempt, minimum of 100 attempts. And he has 76 missed tackles forced, which is 7th. Pretty good acceleration. Breakaway percentage was 11th. Again, minimum of 100 attempts. Pretty good elusive rating, 9th. favors zone runs over gap, so we don't like that. We want to see someone a little bit more balanced. Pretty good patience at times. Over 21 carries a game. I believe he led the nation in rushing. I could be wrong, but over 1,700 yards, 19 touchdowns. But he played in Conference USA. And that's the biggest issue I have, because I did a little research last night after scouting him. When you look at his games versus real competition, so he played LSU in 2022. 13 carries, 34 yards, 2.6 yards per attempt. Not good. Played Georgia in 2021. Better. 13 carries, 61 yards, 4.7 yards per attempt. That was probably the league's best, or the nation's best rushing defense as well. But you look at his conference. He's in Conference USA. From 2018 to 2022, the NFL draft, there are only 36 players of 1,286 who were drafted from Conference USA. That is 2.8%. If you look at notable players from Conference USA in that time, Tariq Woolen, looks like one of the steals of the draft. L'Jarius Sneed, great player. But then you have guys like Mike White, Boston Scott, kind of like just average guys. Quez Watkins. You also have Marcus Davenport, probably the best player out of Conference USA in that time. And Devin Singletary, who Devin's been okay. And then according to a report done by B&B Football, in April of 2022, just 4.4% of players in the NFL are from Conference USA. So, yes, if you look at purely production and efficiency, he looks like the best running back in the class. But the context is important, that the competition was not very difficult. And when he faced good competition, results varied. Also, 4 targets on a year? What the heck is that?
Yeah, man, it's not much.
How do you project him in the NFL as a pass catcher when he gets 4 targets on the year? So, I believe in his career he has like under 5 receptions. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
it's not the best for a guy like that.
As a pure rusher, though, he's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. All right, why don't we leave a couple minutes here to do a Q&A. So please let us know if you have any questions. We are 15 subscribers away from 4K.
That's awesome.
So thank you guys for the subs. Thank you for the likes. If you haven't subscribed, we just need 15 more people to do so we can hit that 4,000 mark.
Yeah, man. 212 likes as well. This is crazy. We really appreciate you guys, man. Honestly.
Genuinely. That's very, very kind of y'all.
So much content coming out, too.
This class is deep. It is deep, yes. Especially at running back. The more mocks I do and see, the more I realize the insane depth, especially at running back. Is 212 for Jordan Love a good trade? Yes, absolutely. Do it now. I brought Jordan Love in one of our most recent videos.
Buy low scenario. Yeah, that's out right now.
Or
so
must
check
keeps.
that out.
Stashes.
Madden.
Do it.
Madden Mobile Genius. Go check that out, man.
Thank you for hanging out. He says, I stand by Hooker at 206. I can respect it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Thoughts on David Bell?
Oh man, if they don't draft another wide receiver, I think there could be opportunity. But I won't be surprised if the Browns do get a second round or a third round wide receiver, since this is kind of the way this draft class is kind of looking. A lot of second round talents, a lot of third round talents. If they don't draft somebody in that round, and if they don't draft a wide receiver, then David Bell could have opportunity, but all depends on the draft.
Whatever happened to Chris Autumn Bell? Thought he was a pretty good prospect for the 2023 draft a few years ago. I haven't heard much of him. To be honest, I haven't heard much of him either, man. I haven't really been able to keep up with him. We can do a quick Google search here.
I just said Chris Autumn Bell, Minnesota. Went to Minnesota.
Yeah, he's currently still there. Is he going to return as a
senior right now? I mean,
he's a senior now. I mean, he had 11 receptions on the year.
Yeah, not much production, unfortunately.
He's been there 5 years, so it doesn't look like he's going to make the NFL. You can't put up 11 receptions in your last year and make the NFL. But maybe he had injuries. I don't know. But even before, he's never put up more than 36 receptions in a year.
Yeah, I mean, if he does get an opportunity, he'll probably be like an undrafted free agent where
Did he? He tore his knee in the first game. Okay.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, so like where he comes in and tries to make it second squad, but I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, he tore his ACL and he's returning, so for a 6th year. Let's see. 6'1", 210. I don't know too much about him, so I don't want to pretend like I do. Suggestions for the 109 in a one quarterback draft. Well, let's look at how this panned out and take out the quarterbacks. Bijan would be 1. Gibbs would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you're looking at around. I think like Josh Downs becomes a good pick at the 109 in a non-super flex league. Boutte, if that's possible. Then you're looking at a Charbonnet, a Tucker, a Michael Mayer if it's a tight end premium. I think Zach Evans should be considered there. Do you think our boy Jerome Ford will get a legit shot? I think he could. What's the Ernest Johnson situation though? Because he's probably the 3.
I am actually not concerned about Ernest Johnson. I'm more concerned about Kareem Hunt if he does stay. But I think there was so much conversation during the season about him trying to go or them trying to trade him. So for me,
he's a free agent.
Yeah, for me, it's like, okay, if they don't re-sign somebody, I really like Jerome Ford as a complimentary guy, a change of pace guy, a guy that can catch the ball. But we've seen Nick Chubb, step up in receptions as well a little bit.
So D'Ernest Johnson is a free agent this year, and so is Kareem Hunt. So yeah, maybe Jerome Ford should be someone we talk about in a video.
No, for sure. I mean, obviously, Daniel, we both love Jerome Ford. I mean, he was my 2 last year, if I'm mistaken, before the draft, and I really liked his talent, his speed, everything that he brought. But draft capital just wasn't there for him.
Can you rank Tucker, Evans, Bigsby, and Charbonnet? Sure. For me, I have Tucker and Evans as my 3A, 3B. Then I would have Charbonnet, who probably could be C in there. Honestly, Tucker, Evans, and Charbonnet probably will all end up my 3. I love all of them pretty equally. And then I would put Tank after them.
Well, Eric banned me just interviewed for the Colts anyway, so I didn't realize that.
Says, I feel like Rashad was drafted and he was expected to be a good prospect. Fair. Is George's McIntosh going back to school? We don't know. I don't have any update on it yet. Suggestions for the 103, 107, and 109 in Superflex. 103.
What we see here.
Yeah, I mean, similar. I would be looking at Gibbs, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, or if one of the quarterbacks are available. 107, I'm probably going wide receiver. So Johnston, Addison.
Yeah. That feels comfortable.
109, I'm probably
same thing in that area. Maybe
Same thing in that area. Maybe Boutte.
I would take Boutte there. I guess if you need another quarterback,
Will Levis.
Will. I think that
Anthony Richardson if he falls.
That's pretty fun for all those guys personally.
At one point, Michigan had Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, and Zach Charbonnet. I know. Michigan fans don't like the idea of Donovan Edwards transferring, but I think it's best for his career.
Probably.
Who knows?
I mean, hey, they like the idea of Blake coming back, though, which is, I mean, not the best for his career.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Anyway, guys, that's probably it for today. Huge love. Really, really appreciate the support, the likes. It's really cool to see how many people are with us. I mean, this is the kind of hype I was getting, Badake. Remember when you had your honeymoon and it was NFL draft? This is the kind of hype I was getting during the NFL draft.
No, that's awesome.
I don't know what it's going to be like this year. We might have like 400 people watching us during the NFL draft or something.
Yeah, which is going to be exciting. So, hey, we appreciate all you guys. I mean, 31 people watching still with us. We appreciate you that you're staying to the end, trying to get some knowledge, trying to understand this draft class. We're learning just as you guys, and we're going to continue to learn, continue to dig, and get more information for you guys. Getting into the draft class and trying to get these not these mocks, but your rookie drafts as much knowledge as you can and get prepared as the NFL draft approaches. So we appreciate you. We appreciate each and every one of you, honestly.
Yeah, no, we definitely do. Hey, if you are watching, I assume that you want to consume more Dynasty content. And if that's the case, let me give you let me give you 3 really good options.
There we go. Number 1.
Number 1, and I'm going to paste all these in the chat. Badake and I's tier rankings for the rookie wide receivers this year. How about another one where you and I do stashes by lows at the wide receiver position?
Yeah.
Or just in general.
There. Yeah.
I also give a quarterback must keep. And then the last one, which we just released, is buy low dynasty wide receivers. So those are 3 options for you to continue watching if you want to watch more of our content. We won't be live tomorrow.
Coming. Yeah.
But we do have more videos coming. And there will be 3 more videos to end the weekend. And then we will be back live your Monday for more mock drafts. So huge love.
Yeah, your Monday. True. I was going to say, oh, that's playoffs, but no. Your Monday, so it's all good.
All right, guys. Huge love. We will see you soon. And yeah, have a good rest of your night.
Appreciate you guys.